Hello and welcome back to the fourth episode of the 71st Hour podcast. I am your host, Seto, or Ben, and I'm joined by my wonderful co host, Jamie.
Can you
Uh,
believe it's been 4 episodes already?
it's been 4 episodes, 4 weeks. It's been good.
That
It's been
is that's kind of crazy.
yeah.
Also, I just want to say, just at the top of the show, just at the top of the show, if anything goes wrong during this episode, it's on my fault because I am
Yep.
running the show. Because I mean,
Yes.
obviously, you've probably noticed if you're watching the video version that we are a man down
We are a man
at the
down. He's already
moment.
left. He's gone. He's gone. He's already
He's
given up.
gone. He's given up. It's just us from here on out. No, we're kidding.
Exactly.
Obviously, Nathan is on his honeymoon for 2 weeks,
Mhm.
so he'll be back in not next episode, but the episode after. And
Yes.
of course, naturally, the episode that he's gone is the episode where we get a shit ton of Nintendo news
Nintendo.
that he
Yes.
would be really able to like eloquently speak to,
Mhm.
but he's not here for it. So
Nope.
you know.
Unfortunately.
Also, another note: if I sound different, I have a fucking ulcer on my tongue, so I feel like I'm a little tongue tied, a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I'm not sure if you can notice, but I feel.
No.
You know,
You
you
always
can't.
have a list. You always have a list, so it's fine.
No, but it's different this time. It's like an ulcer. See,
It's a
I'm getting tongue tied.
nah. It's all.
So yeah, that's another thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that it's just this is scuffed edition. This is
Yeah.
71st hour, very scuffed version.
Yeah, it's more chill, it's more scuff, it's gonna be great.
So it's just a very chill, like just one-on-one kind of just bro
Mhm.
out, you know?
Exactly.
Sounds oddly sexual.
It
Maybe not
really
maybe
does.
don't call it a bro out.
Hey, man, look, whatever you wanna call it.
But I don't call it that anymore.
Oh,
I
I don't
rescind
know,
that.
I don't know. Anyway, how has your week been? How has your week been?
I
We've
mean,
had
I gotta say this week has been pretty shit. It's
you
been a
had
pretty
that
week.
week?
It has
Has
not it's not been a great week, but the good thing is that every time we record the podcast, I'm happy because it's we're in it, you know?
yeah,
Nearly
exactly,
the end the
exactly.
weekend is so close.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly. Yeah, no, it
How about your
hasn't.
week? How's your week been?
Oh, got back to work. It's been tiring, but it's been
Mm,
okay. It's been okay. But we haven't really had too much gaming news. We did have Nintendo Direct, which we'll talk about, but I don't. This hasn't been much this week at all. This week's been kind of boring. It's been bland.
it has well, I mean, so here's the thing, right? Is like I was like, oh dude, there's a Nintendo Direct happening 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
on the morning of when we record this podcast. This is fucking perfect. We're gonna nail it. There's gonna be so much news. There wasn't a lot of news. Do we want to start with the biggest thing?
Yeah,
You think?
I think we should start with probably the biggest talk with it. What happened to Nintendo? I think like the one I think everyone has been kind of talking about with Nintendo. So yeah,
So let's talk about Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
yes, 100%, 100%.
So
Look,
what do you think of this? Because
um,
I obviously I know my thoughts, but I haven't heard your thoughts.
yes. So look, so far it looks good. It looks good.
Mhm,
I'll get into it when I talk about it later. But I haven't playing Breath of the Wild this week, and
mhm.
like this is definitely looking really good. It definitely looks like a step up. I don't. It's. It, I know I haven't played too much Breath of the Wild yet, right?
Mhm.
But it looks. I don't know if it's because I've played so little, but it looks samey to what I've been playing. It looks
That's
very similar.
Well, it's funny you say that because that was sort of my kind of vibe from this, where I was like, oh, I feel like I've. It's not like I feel like I've seen this before because obviously there's new stuff here.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of some kind of new enemies. You've got some new ways of transportation.
Yep.
The environment itself looks a lot darker. I would say
Yeah, it does.
darker in terms of like vibe, not in terms of like actual like luminance.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm excited for this. Like, come on, like
100%.
it's a standout game. It's probably going to be game of the year for like the majority of people, I'd say.
Hmm.
And it just looked fun. Like I can't wait to experience more just really great puzzle design, really great combat, really great exploration.
Hmm.
I'm just excited to just immerse myself in Hyrule again. And even though I have said before that Breath of the Wild didn't strike me the same way that it struck other people in terms of like its quality. Like I didn't like it as much as I would say the normal, like the regular audience did.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, but I'm still extremely excited for this.
Yeah.
They confirmed again that it's coming May 12th, which I mean, it's probably not going to get delayed now. I
I
think
don't
this
think
is like a
so. Like
guarantee. Like,
this is the second time they've confirmed May 12th, and Nintendo doesn't really usually delay anyway. So like they,
I just think the fact that like it's so soon, it's
yeah,
so close that
exactly.
I would be shocked that if we get to April and they're like, oh, we need a couple more weeks
Yeah, yeah.
or a couple more months, or like, I don't, if it does get delayed, I don't think it's going to be a big delay.
Nintendo is very solid, which where the closer you get, the more you know that it most likely is not going to be delayed. Usually, the delaying something delay it well in advance They are
Yeah,
very
I
open.
can't
That's like
remember because Breath of the Wild did go through some delays.
yes, it did.
Um, but I can't. I'm pretty sure once they had a date on it, it wasn't. They didn't move it
Yeah.
after that. It was pretty cemented in. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm just fucking excited for it.
It does look really good. It does look very, very good.
Well, what do you want to get to next? Because obviously Zelda,
Look,
great, fantastic, staple. Can't wait to play it. Think it's going to be really fantastic. Probably going to be the highest rated game this year,
100%. Yeah,
and Nathan's going to get all the points.
you will.
So
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. The other games I don't know too much about. So
you
I'm
don't know
very
too much
much
about it. Okay, well, let's leave the big one, the drop, the
yeah.
shadow drop for
Mhm.
last.
Yes, 100%.
Let's talk about Advance Wars 1+2.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
So, do you know anything about this game?
Nope. Nothing. You're leading me through this.
Well, it's funny because I don't know much about this franchise either. But as I
Bro,
said,
they
this is the
need to be
perfect,
here.
this is the absolute perfect week for Nintendo news. Advance Wars 1+2 is kind of a beloved strategy game.
Yeah.
I do think it's weird that I'm showing the trailer, if you're watching the video version, the trailer that they showed at the Nintendo Direct today,
Mhm.
or yesterday, since you're watching this, on Friday.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because it's like an animation and it doesn't
If
really
you
show you what the game is at all.
if you showed me that without
Um,
the ending, I would have thought that was like an anime. I wouldn't actually think that would be a strategy game.
if you kill time, I will get some gameplay to show you if you
Okay.
like.
Yeah. So look,
Um,
the thing
do you like
is,
strategy games?
no, I actually do. That's the thing is that I know
Okay.
Nathan does a lot, but I actually do like quite a lot of strategy games myself. And look, like I don't know anything about this game too much myself, but I feel like as a strategy game, I wonder how Nintendo would actually do their own type of strategy game because have they done any other strategy
So
game
this
apart from this?
franchise was on the DS. Oh my
Oh,
god! I wish I should
probably.
have researched. I should have researched more.
Mhm.
Um, I believe maybe it was a Game Boy Advance game. It might
Okay.
have been that far
Wow,
back.
really old. Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm so underprepared for this.
Yeah.
But this is totally like remade from the ground up.
Yeah.
In terms of visuals. The
Mhm.
gameplay was obviously what I imagine fans would remember. And it's the first two games,
Okay.
so I'm definitely going to play this. I think this is going to be
Yeah.
great. I think it's going to be really fun. Nintendo really doesn't miss
Mhm.
with a lot of games, and even though I'm not really the strategy kind of guy, I think this is the kind of strategy game that I would vibe with.
Yes,
And
100%.
it's also kind of the perfect Switch game
It
because it's
is.
it's
It's
very it's very much made for that handheld kind of um environment, right?
yeah,
Like you could play this on
100%.
the TV, but I couldn't really see myself doing that. You know what I mean?
No. The
Like,
one thing I will say about Switch games and like the entirety of Nintendo, and
mhm.
I'll say this now because it's something I'm gonna bring up later, is that I I forgot how easy and how accommodating games are on the Switch because you can just bring it anywhere you want to. You want to play games in your lounge room, you can do that. In your bedroom, you can do that. You can go touch grass and play video games. You know what I
You
mean?
could
You
touch
can
grass.
do that. Like it's so accommodating. This, as you said, is like a perfect Switch game because it's easy. You could probably jump into it, play a little bit, then leave if you want to. You know what I mean? So like if you're
It's
like
also the kind of game that you can suspend. Like I feel like you leave suspended for like, if you play 10 minutes and then, you got to get off the train or whatever, you kind of you could just leave it and come back
yeah,
to it and you're like right back into it.
mhm,
Yeah, I think this is kind of the perfect, like when I think of a game that seems like it's kind of perfectly made for the Switch, even though this is a
mhm,
remake. It's this game. I can't
yes,
wait
100%.
to try it out. I think it's going to make my train rides into the office a lot easier, a lot
100%.
less, a
Yeah.
lot quicker.
Mhm.
And yeah, I also think like another thing that I've noticed with Switch games, at least lately, is the games are kind of pushing the boundaries of like how much you can kind of push on the Switch.
Yes.
In terms of graphics, in terms of visual style, everything.
100%.
Um, and some games are not performing very well in terms of how frame rate, input latency, and how it looks on a TV. Like
Yeah.
the
Witcher 3, for
Switch
example.
games don't look great on a 4K TV. They really don't because you're pushing, you're spreading 1080p
Mhm.
over a 4K screen, and it
Yeah.
looks really blurry. I actually can't play Switch games on my TV at all.
Wow. One example that I thought of immediately was that, like as I just said, Witcher 3. That when it got transferred over to the Switch did not look good at
Oh,
all.
you
That
don't like
that
what
struggled.
looking at a 360p image?
Yeah, it struggled. So like they definitely tried to push a boundary, but I don't think this game will do that at all. I think this game will actually be as we said, perfect. I think it'd be just great.
I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be fun, and it's coming out at a good time as well. It's April 21st.
Oh, so it's like just
Um,
before Zelda, so that's actually really
just
good.
before Zelda, a week before Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, so it's coming at
So
just the right time. Okay.
I'd say it's a good time. And also the thing is, like, as I said, you can suspend the game. It's not like you have to play it for hours on end. So you can like put it down and then play some Star Wars Jedi Survivor and come back to it and play
100%.
like 30 minutes before bed. I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm
It looks really
actually
good.
kind of
It
stoked
looks
for it.
really good. Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of handheld games
Mhm.
on a handheld
On
on
the
the
handheld.
Switch,
On
uh, let's talk about Game Boy and Game Boy Color games coming to Switch
Yeah,
today.
this is really interesting. When I saw you guys talking about this, I was very confused, and I looked into it. This is very interesting. I I don't know too much, but I'm
Are you
up
excited
for
for
it.
this? Like, do you think any of these, like, kind of, like Tetris, Super Mario
I
World
actually
2, any of
I
these games do anything for you?
I used to actually play a lot of Tetris. I actually used
Mhm.
to play a lot of Tetris. So actually that does it for
But
me.
do you wanna go back to the game that started it all, the
That's the
original?
thing. That's the thing, as well as that, like, there is, as you said, Super Mario and whatnot in here as well, which could be very interesting to come back to. It could be very, very interesting as you replay these much older games because, like, there was not much way to play apart from, what's it called? Where you
I was gonna say how like, with emulation, like,
emulation.
it's
Thank you. Yes,
possible, but there are some games that I feel like don't really work well in
100%.
terms of emulation,
Mhm.
and I think the Switch is just kind of the best way to play these games legally,
100%. Yes.
I think the games that speak to me the most is probably Metroid 2, which is on screen now if you're watching the video version,
Yep.
and, The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. The Minish
I
Cap?
yes, I was gonna ask about
Um,
Metroid because that's the game I'm probably gonna be most excited about. I used to play a lot of Metroid, so I'll be very excited about that.
yeah, because, like, with Zelda, I hadn't played a Zelda game before Breath of the Wild, and then I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, shit. These games are fucking good. Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild's really good." And then I played Link's Awakening. I started Skyward Sword. I've sort of been on a bit of a Zelda kick,
Yes. Yes.
um, over since 2017, basically, and
Mhm,
I just want to play more of them. I want to experience more of them. They're some of the best games of all time.
mhm.
And there's, obviously they're bringing Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
So plenty of
Yeah,
Zelda
a
to
lot of
play.
Zelda, a lot of Zelda.
And I actually owned a Game Boy Advance.
Oh,
I
do
had
you?
one.
Oh.
I did.
Oh, okay.
But the only game that I remember playing on the Game Boy Advance was Peter Jackson's
Peter
King Kong,
Jackson.
the video game.
I love it. I
And
love
would
it.
you believe I owned 2 copies of that game, one on the Game Boy Advance and one on the 360.
You
But
love that game.
the
You love that
crazy
game.
thing about tie-in movie tie-in games back then was
Mhm.
those games were totally different. The
They were
the
completely
Peter
different.
Jackson's King Kong on the Xbox 360 was a first-person shooter.
Yep.
And
I
on the Game Boy Advance, obviously, you can't do a first person game. So it
no.
was like a top down, like, just like kind of, I feel like it was a Zelda clone where it was,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
don't really remember too much about it.
There's a lot of tie-in games around like 2000s era that I remember distinctively, right? There was a lot, and even like 90s, but like 2000 was the biggest
Oh
one.
man, dude, there were
I
so many movie tie in games. Like
I I, re-
every week there was a new one.
I remember I played the Avatar tie-in game, which had nothing to
Oh,
do
you
with
know
the
that wasn't made by
movie.
Ubisoft?
That was made by Ubisoft, really?
Ubisoft developed that. I owned it, dude. I got the
I
so
remember
dumb.
that.
Bro, I was so fucking spoiled. I used to get like the collector's editions for like every game.
I
And I got the collector's edition for Avatar the video game. And it came
Yeah.
with this shitty like Jake Sully action figure.
I
And it was fucking awful. It was
I
so
dude,
bad. It was just dreadful.
that game. What I remember that game so much, I'll quickly talk about is that like I remember there was like it was combat against like the mechs, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But how you would have to destroy the mechs was you had to like get the vents in the back and then you could destroy them from the front. It was this really weird system. It had nothing to do with the actual Avatar story, but I remember distinctively really enjoying that video game.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sure it popped off, dude. I think
yeah,
Ubisoft that might be Ubisoft's best game.
100%, 100%. Better than Division, 100%.
No, but there are some good movie tie-in games. Like I think
100%.
about like X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Mhm,
Do you remember
mhm.
that on
I
the
do remember.
the Xbox 360 and the PS3?
Yeah, yeah.
It was gory, dude.
Yeah,
It was so weird because like the previous generation, like the original Xbox PS2 had like an M-rated kind of like
mhm,
whatever, like PG-13 kind of like what the movie was
yeah,
version that just told like the movie's events sort of, but it
mhm,
also changed a lot of stuff.
mhm.
But then the 360 and PS3 version was just like you could
It
rip
was
and tear enemies apart,
it was
like
insane.
cut them in half, and there's just blood. And then when Logan got injured, his skin would start like his bones would
Yeah,
start to
like,
show, and his
deteriorating. Yeah, it's
it was
really cool.
like, damn, dude, this game's actually good. Um,
Yeah, very
fun
good game.
fact, I'm now I may need to look this up, but I'm pretty sure it was made
Oh,
by
check the alt
Treyarch.
tabs. Check the alt tabs. Check it. Watch it. Watch it.
I'm pretty sure it was made.
It was made by Treyarch. Yes, it was made by Treyarch.
Was
Tre-
it? Or did they make?
Treyarch made a bunch of Marvel games. They made. I remember they made an Iron Man game as well. They made an Iron Man game. They also
This
made a
was
Captain
made.
America.
X-Men Origins Wolverine was made by Raven Software. So it's
Yeah.
another Call of Duty developer.
Mhm.
But I remember I was like, what the fuck? Like what? Like man, get Raven Software off Warzone. Get them onto like a superhero game, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. It
They
was
fucking
like
killed
yeah.
it.
There was a Iron Man game I remember playing when I was young, and I actually distinctively really enjoyed that as well. There was an Iron
Oh
Man
my
game.
god.
I don't
Dude,
think it was
okay.
good.
I just want to
It
say
was,
Iron Man 2, the video game, is like one of the lowest rated games of all time.
it is.
So
It is. I
if it's
it's
anything
so
like, I mean, the first one, they dropped off, you know.
yeah. No, but I don't think it was good, but I remember enjoying it. You know what I mean? I remember enjoying it because I was 10-year-old
But you were
blowing
like,
shit up.
oh, I'm Iron Man. Like
Yes, yes. No, exactly. I think it was literally that. But yeah, no, I think
I'm being Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Wait,
But
what
yeah,
are you
no, I
10? 2008?
I was 8. I was 8 then.
Damn, you're a fucking child.
Yeah, I'm a child.
Actual infant.
Yeah.
Um, speaking of old games that were good
Yes,
that are
yes.
coming back, dude, I'm so fucking good
I
at segues. Let's
oh,
talk
dude,
about
you're sick.
Metroid Prime Remastered.
This is quite exciting.
I'm so excited for this,
I was
dude.
so keen when I saw this. I was so keen.
Have you played Metroid Prime?
I have. Yes, I have.
I have not. I've never played it.
Oh, okay, okay.
I didn't own a GameCube. I owned a
Mhm.
Wii, but by the time I owned a Wii, the Metroid trilogy was like, for some reason, it felt like this coveted collection
It
that was
was.
really hard to get on the Wii. It was
Yeah,
really hard. It was like a collector's item, it felt
it
like.
was this
And I could
really
never,
weird.
I always wanted to play it, could never find a copy.
Mhm, mhm.
And this was before I had like I was connected to the internet for like gaming, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like with
exactly.
an Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't just I'm pretty sure they were I don't know if they were on the eShop. They might have been. So yeah, I've never played Metroid Prime.
Mhm.
And I was actually going to like very legally
Yeah.
acquire a copy, a personal
Yes.
computer copy,
Yeah,
a
you have a
very
friend.
exclusive
You have a
personal
friend.
computer copy, um, and play it. But I was like,
Yes.
well, there's all these rumors about Metroid Prime Remastered. I should just wait,
Yeah,
see what happens.
and thank God you did.
And the waiting has paid off.
Yeah, 100%.
And the best thing is it's fucking out. It's out yesterday.
Yeah,
You know,
it came out. It's
it's
already
out.
out.
Like I can play it. I didn't play any because I was setting up stream. This the I
Mhm.
mean not the stream podcast.
Yes.
So I'm very excited to try this
Mhm.
uh tonight. Honestly,
Yeah,
Friday night.
yeah,
So yeah, super keen, excited. I
really good.
know Luca and Nathan was super hyped about this.
Yeah, they were spamming in
Although
the
they're a
chat there.
little down that it's not 2 and 3, but I'm pretty sure like 2 and 3
Look,
aren't as I mean, they're definitely not as beloved.
no,
And I'm pretty
yeah.
sure then I mean on I think 3 is kind of considered bad, but 2 is apparently really good. So
Mhm.
maybe they'll release 2 and 3 at some point. I don't
Look,
know.
they probably will. They're doing a lot of remasters. I don't see why not. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. So yeah.
I also think like if this game sells well, that might kind of push
Oh,
Nintendo to be
100%.
like, "Hey, we should do this."
Yeah,
Money talks,
100%.
you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
100%.
but yeah, that's Metroid. I'm excited. I see the thing is I don't have much to say about it.
Yeah,
I wish I
like,
got to play some of it.
I think next week we'll probably talk about more, but I think right now there's nothing
I'm
much to say
definitely
about
going to
it.
talk about it next week. For
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
100%.
Like a one last thing, which
Yes.
I left to the end because I think it's like outside of Zelda, my favorite thing I saw.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Uh, and that was Pikmin 4.
Yeah, this is I'm I don't know much about the Pikmin series. I was more excited about Metroid, but I am cautiously optimistic because not in the sense I don't think it'd be bad, but like I think I'll like it, but I don't know entirely yet.
Yeah, I honestly don't think Nintendo misses when it comes to Pikmin games.
No, I've heard they've all been
And there
really good.
hasn't been a Pikmin game since the Wii U, like ages ago.
Really? Oh, wow, okay.
It's been a long time. Like Pikmin 3 was on the Wii U, and then they actually pretty sure there's a Switch remaster of
Yeah.
Pikmin 3. Which I'm actually thinking about picking up
Okay.
just to get ready for Pikmin 4 because this
Yeah.
looked really good. Like I think it looks
Mhm.
great.
It
It
did
looks
look
really
really good.
cutesy. It's got that Nintendo kind of I don't know. Nintendo's got like a really great charm about all the games they make.
Yeah, they
That's
really
sort of
do.
very unique to them.
Mhm, mhm.
And I don't know, man. This just games it looks so cute, man.
It
Look
looks
at all the
cute.
little
I really
Pikmin.
like it. It looks cute. It looks cute. Like, you
It
can't
looks
really say much.
cute, and there's a pupper later on. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Pikmin pupper.
Yeah, can't do much. It looks cute. Like, that's just it. Look, he's shooting fire and shit.
And
Like
you just like I just like the I mean, obviously Pikmin, like everyone know I feel like everyone knows Pikmin except for
Yeah,
us, but you just throw all your little dudes, all your little
y
Pikmin
yeah,
at stuff to
yeah,
solve puzzles. Like I love that shit, dude.
yeah. It just looks cool. It just looks cool. But yeah,
Just-
no. I
Look at the ice Pikmin, man. Look at this
yeah.
little guy.
Bro,
I mean,
bro, I
if you're
wish
fucking
Nathan was
listening to
here.
this, you need to turn on the video right now and watch
Just quickly.
ice Pikmin. Look at them freezing that pond. I love it. I
Bro,
love it.
Nathan would be so much better at this because we're like, "This is so cute," but he would have so much more
Nathan's like, it would explain like the intricate mechanics, the
like,
changes
"Damn,
from the previous Pikmin games,
look,
and
he's
I'm
shooting
out here
fire."
like, oh look, you can send the dog into the wall and it breaks. Like,
Look, we have a better idea nicely, but yeah, no, it's just cute. Like,
I mean,
it's
look
just
at this. Like,
it's
this is
just cute.
fucking adorable. This looks
It's
great.
adorable. I
I
love
can't
it.
wait.
I love it. I'm excited. I'm
Good
excited.
water physics too. See the water
Really
physics
is.
right
Yeah,
there? They look really
100%.
good.
Looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for everything Nintendo. You know,
Oh, yeah, everything
I
Nintendo
will
using
say, you know, the reason I picked these 5 games, these five, I guess they're not all just games. The Game Boy and Game Boy Color are a collection of games. Is because the rest of this presentation,
kinda mid.
it was a
It
bit
was
whatever. It was not
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I maybe my expectations were too high, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think it was worth me getting up at 7:30, ready at 8 a.m. to watch it.
Look, I would
I'll just say
say
that.
it was the entire thing was kinda mid. These games stood out, but overall, I would say it's kinda mid. These are the games that were, like, the best, but overall, kind of a mid direct. It was okay.
I think if you're a really big Nintendo fan, there would have been stuff there outside of these games
100%.
that
100%.
spoke to you.
Yeah.
Like I know if you're a fan of Splatoon, they showed off they revealed some Splatoon gameplay.
Mhm.
If you're a fan of Fire Emblem, did they show Fire? Yeah, they show Fire Emblem Engage DLC.
Mhm.
If you're a fan of, I don't know, if you're a fan of previous Nintendo franchises and you've been playing those games, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was another one.
That's
They
a big
showed
one,
DLC
yeah.
for that. If you're a fan of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you really like that game from last year. Hey, there's some new stuff for you. So yeah,
There's
there's that stuff that I think is for the hardcore kind of Nintendo
yep,
audience.
yep.
But these kind of like easy pops were good for us,
100%.
I think.
The how big of a game is Splatoon? Because I know it's
It's
popular.
big.
I know it's popular.
I mean I'm pretty sure it's sold like I mean it's already sold a few million copies.
Yeah. How many?
I want you to guess.
With the reaction, I'm gonna go like 20 million.
Okay, not that many, Jesus.
Yeah, okay.
They're like one of the fastest selling games of all time.
Yeah.
Come on,
Wait,
come on.
when did Splatoon come out? When did it come out?
Splatoon 3 came out on the 9th of September.
Oh, okay, sorry. I
Little
thought
treat
okay, okay,
9/11.
yeah, yeah.
Little it's not even
Um,
9/11.
I would say 5 million. 5 million, maybe?
Try 10.13 million
I thought to be honest,
as
20
of the
million.
31st of December last year.
Look, 20 million was not that far off. And that's
I
only
mean, it
December
wasn't.
last
I mean, it's
year.
double, but like,
But
yeah, 10 million
dude,
copies.
but it's like that's December last year as well. That's actually like pretty. That's what
Hey,
2
but this
months.
says
That's insane.
wait, hold on, that's wrong.
Oh, it's
This
wrong.
information is incorrect.
Okay.
Because then this thing from oh well, that was the wait. Can I just get up to date fucking information? Yes, 1 day ago, passes 10 million copies sold.
That's insane. That's still insane. That's
I
like
mean, these franchises, like, if you've
they
got a
slap.
Nintendo Switch and you're a fucking Nintendo fan, you are buying all of this shit.
Yeah, you
Like, I
are.
guaranteed, like, Fire Emblem Engage came out in January. Give it a couple months, that'll be like
That's
easy
huge.
5 million seller. Like, it
Yeah,
just, there's something about Nintendo games that people just cling to. If you're a Nintendo fan, you just buy everything of
you
theirs
really do.
because that
It's an
polish,
idea.
the art design, the game, yeah, just the mastery of game design in general is kind of unmatched.
Really,
So yeah, that's
100%.
what I think about Nintendo. I respect them. I've respected them for years. Um, we just won't talk about the Wii U. You know,
No, that's just fine.
hey, they
That's just
released
fine.
a fuck ton of good Wii U games.
Look, the thing is, the Wii U was a lid to like
They just
the
released a
Nintendo
bad
Switch.
console.
Yeah, it was just the lead to Nintendo Switch. You know what I mean? That's what it was. That's what I believe it was.
Yeah, I mean, without the Wii U, you don't get the Switch. So
Yeah, exactly. So I
you
would
know,
say the Wii U
sometimes you
actually
got to
slapped.
eat the greens to get to the meat.
Yeah, I would say the Wii U actually slaps the best console of all time because again, it's a Nintendo Switch, 100%.
Wii U best console of all time because it got us the Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm, I think the Switch might be my favorite Nintendo console.
100%. No, I
I mean,
agree.
I've only owned two.
Yeah,
Well, four,
I've owned
including handhelds.
I've
Five,
owned 3, but I played on a bunch. I've owned 3, but I've played on like 6, I think,
because
or
I
something like
had
that.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I owned a Game Boy Advance.
Hmm.
I owned a Nintendo DS.
Yep.
Or DS a DS XL
Mhm.
or DSi. Might have been a DSi. I don't remember.
Yep.
I've owned a 3DS. I've owned a Wii U. I've owned a Wii. Okay, wait,
Mhm.
that's six, and a Switch. Seven
Yeah.
consoles.
You own 7. Jesus, okay,
Um,
there you go. I need to think back because, yeah, my
it's
brother had
crazy
a.
because I don't even consider myself a huge Nintendo fan, but I've owned seven of their consoles.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I just like accidentally gave them a shit ton of money. Like,
One of my first consoles was a Wii, and I played on that way too much,
oh
like,
man,
way
I
too
was one of
much.
those gruff like teenage gamers that was like, oh, Wii Sports is cool, but I want to play Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah,
And
no,
then
I
I
was
traded in my Wii for a PS3. And
uh,
honestly, that was probably the best fucking decision I ever made because
really?
holy shit. Oh, dude, PS3 had so many good games.
It did have a lot of good games.
Oh my god.
I had a Wii, and then my mom got me an Xbox 360, and then I got a PS3
Poggers.
pretty close
Poggers.
after that.
Double Pog.
Yeah, Del Pog, and yeah, no, like the Wii started off, and that's just like on my Xbox 360. That's when like I got like Left 4
Like,
Dead.
oh, these are real games.
Yeah, no,
Kidding.
but
No, there were a lot of good Wii games,
there was
but
a lot of good Wii games, but then like because with the Wii games, there are a lot of them, like majority of them are like very family friendly. You know what I mean?
yes.
Very friendly. But then like when you get Xbox 360, always up to like Call of Duty. I got Left 4 Dead. You know
But
what I
the thing
mean?
is, like that, so around that time, I was turning like 14, 15.
Yes.
And when you're
Mhm.
14 and 15, you want to pretend that you're becoming an adult.
Yeah,
And adults don't play, even though they do. They don't play Mario or
exactly.
Zelda or Metroid or Animal Crossing. When in retrospect, that's fucking not true. Like they all
I
all these
I
adults,
would
like
say
I
it
think the
probably
majority of
more.
sales are adults. Like,
I would say it leans more towards adults actually at some points. Like I think there's like it goes kids and then teenagers drops off, but then adults it picks back up again.
oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I mean, when you get to an adult phase, you're like, shit, I need any spark of joy I can get.
Exactly.
Let me
In
play this Zelda
the
game.
whole world.
Let me play this Mario. Let me jump on these Goombas.
Yeah, let me kill these Goombas. Well,
um, so yeah,
look, talking about that, do you want to get into the games that we've actually been playing?
sure.
Yeah,
What do you want
I
to
think.
start with?
Well, like talking about Nintendo games, I've been playing Breath of the Wild. Actually, I've actually been playing a
Yeah,
lot of it.
you should click
Uh,
play.
yeah. Oh, you already on it. There you go. I didn't know you were already on it.
I was,
Um,
but I
you
was
were
just waiting
quick.
for you.
You were quick.
I
Look.
wasn't on it, but I was just like waiting for it to like fade into it actually.
Anyway, yeah, no.
Tell me about your experience with Breath of the Wild.
Look, it's good. I enjoy it. I think I was a little bit overhyped for it. Like, I
Mhm.
think I was a little bit, but don't get me wrong, still really enjoy the game. I really do. What I think is making it for me, which I wrong, and this is what I talked about beforehand, is the fact that I can play this game that's already such a good game anywhere I want. And I love that, right? Like today, I went to work, I had a 45-minute break, I was bored, and I whipped out my Nintendo Switch and played some more Breath of the Wild.
Hell
like,
yeah.
like that's what I love because the game is already so good. There's already so much to do in the game itself. And then pair that with the fact that you can move anywhere, it's great. But the game itself, I really enjoy it. The layout of the quests is great. I do like the mechanics. One thing I'm not used to, but I do like is how your weapons can break. I didn't
Mm.
realize that was a thing, and I know
Do
that
you
annoys
like it or
some
hate
people.
it?
I actually like it. I'm used to
Mm,
games.
okay.
I'm used to games where, like, for example, like talk about like let's say Elden Ring, right? Um, like you get a game at the very start. You can cheese it, get a really OP weapon really early, and you have the game through your
Mhm.
entire run. Let's say you cheese a weapon here and you get it really early. That game won't last as long. You know what I mean? So I do like how you have to get and they kind of like transfer through different weapons and armor and whatnot.
Yep.
Yes, it's annoying, but I do like the mechanic. I do like the mechanic. The cooking mechanic really cool as well. I like the freedom of movement you can have. You can climb anywhere you want. You can do anything you want.
Just
Um,
quickly, how many hours have you played?
Only about 4 to 5 hours. I'm not
Okay.
that far through it.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
not that.
you're a baby time. You're a
I'm
ba
baby
This
time.
game is a big old game. This is a big
It's a
game.
big old game. I know it's a huge game. I'm not even close to finishing it, right? I'm taking my time throughout the game. I'm really
That's
going
the way
through
to
it
do it.
slowly. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm
Are you
genuinely
gonna get all the Korok seeds? Do you
most
know what they
likely
are? Are you gonna
most like
get them
I
all?
don't know what they are. So I've watched videos and I've
Yeah.
seen people collect them. I don't know what they do or what they are. I don't know what that entirely that is.
Okay,
But
so I'll just say they are collectible, and there's 900 of them.
oh shit.
There are 900. I'm pretty sure it's like 999 Korok seeds,
That's so
or
many.
like a
That's
random number like 962 or something like that. But there are
holy
over
shit.
900 Korok seeds on a lot all around the map.
Holy
And when you get down to like the last one, it'll be like, oh, it's under a stone. Go find a stone somewhere. It's the last Korok
Bro,
seed.
imagine the video. How long are those videos of all chord scenes? They would have to be
I don't
close to
know. I never went for it though. I never
that's
went
insane.
for the fucking the Korok all 900 Korok seeds. I am sort of tempted though
Mm,
to do another playthrough
mhm.
before Tears of the Kingdom comes
Well,
out,
that's
because
one of the
it has been a while. It's been like 5 years since I finished Breath of the
yeah.
Wild.
That's one of the main reasons why I kinda picked it up now is because, like, Breath of the Wild is coming out, we talked about it, not Breath of the Wild, sorry, Tears of the Kingdom is coming out, we talked
Mhm.
about it, and, like, I thought, "I'll get it through now, I'll get it done so I can immediately jump into Tears of the Kingdom
Now
and
the
get it done."
thing is, will you finish it before Tears of the Kingdom comes out?
I would probably will. I think the closer it gets to Tears of the Kingdom, probably the more if I'm not finished, the more I'll play it so I can
Mhm.
finish it. You know what I mean? But I'm taking my time right now. I'm taking my time. I'm getting through all the side quests and stuff like that. I'm kind of just exploring the world, seeing what it's like. I'm taking my time with it. But overall, I'm very much enjoying the game. I think it's a really, really good game. Uh,
Have you left the main, like, the
the,
tutorial area?
the tutorial areas, I literally have just left the tutorial area. I
Okay.
finished off all of the different temples and dungeons, all like the puzzles and whatnot, and I have just left the tutorial area.
I will say you probably have missed stuff
Yeah.
just because some stuff's well hidden.
Yeah.
Like, I went through the tutorial area. I felt like I did everything. Went to the mainland, and then, like, I was sort of, like, looking at, because I wanted to do all the temples, all the
Mhm.
shrines, and I did
Yes.
all the shrines. And there, like, one of the last shrines I had to do was on the tutorial island that I had just totally
You
missed. I
just
was like,
missed.
"Holy fuck, how did I miss this?"
There you go. Okay, okay.
So there
So
is that. And I mean, there's probably 50 fucking Korok seeds on the
oh,
the
probably, yeah.
tutorial island too,
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah.
just dumb, but that is dumb. But anyway, I think it's good. I enjoy it quite a lot. I think it's actually very good game.
Yeah, from what I remember about it, I mean, the exploration is definitely the big draw from it, to it.
100%. Yes.
Um, and I guess since you've only just left the tutorial island, you haven't, like, experienced what a dungeon in Breath of the Wild is,
Exactly. Yeah.
or some of the high level enemies, basically the I mean, the main part of the game, essentially.
Yeah, I've literally done a tutorial of it. So yeah, I
It's
haven't done
funny,
the whole
like, the tutorial island is fairly big,
yeah.
and then you get to the big island, and it's like,
Yeah, it's a
oh,
whoa.
this is a big old game. This is a
Yeah.
big boy game. Like,
Yeah, I haven't I literally just finished it, so I have not seen anything about the new island yet, but
oh,
I'm
it's so
probably gonna play
sick.
some
Oh
I'm probably
man,
gonna
it's
play some
such a
tonight.
fucking cool game. I
Yeah.
literally, like, you'll get to, like, you'll just find a coastline, and you'll just see a thing and be like, how the fuck is this thing just here? Like,
Yeah.
how is it just here? How did you hide this? How did I not know about it? How did I not see it anywhere? How was I not spoiled about it? How
Mm.
did you man,
Because
it
one
really is
thing
a magical game.
one thing was when I first came into it, one thing that I usually like to do is I like to look at, like, reviews or stuff like that just so I can get, like, an idea of the game just in case I get,
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
lost or anything, and every single time I looked at, like, beginner tips or something like that, the first one and this is I've only seen this a couple other games where they say, like, if you're going into the game, don't look at any more tips. Literally explore the game yourself. And the only other games where I really saw that was stuff like Elden Ring. You know what I mean? Like the big
Yeah.
exploration games where it's like experience it yourself and whatnot. And I'm glad I did do that because it is so cool seeing these things and doing these puzzles yourself and finding these small things that like it feels like it's personalized to you in a sense. Like you're doing it yourself.
I was gonna say I think Elden Ring took a lot of inspiration from this game.
I
I
would
think
agree.
I think a ton of I think
Even
From Software saw this game and they were like, Miyazaki was like, "I want to do that.
yeah,
I want to make that."
playing through the tutorial of it, I definitely and I'll explain later, I got a lot of Elden Ring vibes. I got a
Mhm.
lot of Elden Ring vibes, especially from like when you first walk out of the temple and you get the shot of the land. I was a bit like, damn, that's exactly like when you open the doors in Elden Ring and you
Open
get
the
this
door and you
shot.
see you're in
Yeah.
yeah, you see the tree, you see the tree and
You
like
see you
everything.
see the castle, you see like the church, and you see the tree sentinel. I got that vibe out of it, right? So yeah, no, it was really
I honestly think to me, Elden Ring is like Breath of the Wild like perfected. Or Breath of the Wild more for me, I think. Because
yeah,
obviously
100%.
Breath of the Wild is much more puzzle focused,
Yes.
whereas Elden Ring is more combat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And I definitely prefer combat.
Combat over
I think I like the challenge of combat more than the challenge of being stuck in a room
100%,
for
100%.
like hours. And
Yeah.
it depends. Like obviously I like both yeah, almost equally I'd say, but
But they
I
fill
man,
2 different
I really do think that the
formats.
exploration factor of Breath of the Wild is better.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Just the
yeah, I
idea
would
that it's so the region is so diverse and you'll be shocked by how much is hidden behind structures and
mhm.
huge land masses and oh man, it's I'm so jealous. I'm actually so jealous that you get to experience this for like the first time.
Yeah. No,
Really,
I'm very
really
excited.
jealous.
I'm probably gonna play some more tonight before I go to bed, and I'll play some tomorrow as well. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited to play some more. So yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, you heard it
But
here
yeah,
first, folks. Breath of the Wild, good game.
yeah, Breath of the Wild,
We're
good
the
game.
first podcast that's ever said that. No one else has
Exactly,
ever said that.
exactly. No one else has ever said it. Alright, so that's what I've been playing. That's what I've been playing. But I feel like you've been definitely playing some different stuff, haven't you? You've been playing some more different stuff.
I have been playing different things. I
Yes.
want to talk quickly about a game called Industria, which I
Okay.
streamed the other night.
Mhm. Mhm.
This game is made by I want to say a group of probably like 20 people.
So
Very
small group.
small team, super
Yeah.
small indie game.
Mhm.
Um, I sort of like this game.
Yeah, I sort of.
I usually bring games that I fucking love or
Mm.
really, really like or would recommend. I don't know if I would recommend this game. The only real reason I'm bringing it is because I didn't play that much this week.
Yeah.
Um, because to be honest, I played a lot of Destiny because I'm still stuck in that daily fucking loop. Which after this podcast, I got to do some fucking daily shit because
Yep, yep.
I am
FOMO.
cuffed to it.
Gotta love it.
I'm cuffed to the wall
You gotta love it. You
like a
gotta love it.
prisoner.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Industria. So the setup is you are a woman. You wake up to a phone call.
Mhm.
You go down the street to your place of employment, and well, you know what? It's funny. Like I assume it's her place of employment, but I don't really know.
Mhm.
I guess. At the very least, her partner lives there, or not lives there, works there. He's really into his work. No, she goes there looking for him. See, the thing is, I'm sort of being vague because the story is sort of told, but not very like
Is it one of those games where it's like you have to piece it together yourself type of thing?
you sort of have to piece it together. I think the
Mm.
beginning is pretty directed, but after that, once you enter this new world,
That those are very
it doesn't tell you a whole lot. It kind
that's
of
a
lets
very
you roam.
that's a very hard thing to do. That's a very hard thing to do. Like, I think Elden Ring
Well,
did it really well.
I was gonna say, especially as the environment itself isn't like it's pretty, but I don't think it's like elevated in a way that another different environments are. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't.
Mhm.
It feels very much like an asset library.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And it's
yeah.
probably not. It just gets that vibe. It gives me like UE4 kind of demo vibes from into the
Mm,
environment where they were just like, let's push our capabilities as artists.
yeah, okay.
Um, and it's a good looking game, and it's
Yeah,
especially
like, it
good
looks
looking
beautiful deep
considering the
down, like
team.
yeah.
But yeah, man, these library segments, dude. Like, if you're not watching the video, there's these segments in between sort of missions where you enter this black and white library, and you sort of see scenes, and that you're meant to kind of draw kind of meaning from them, but
Mhm,
I didn't. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking really negatively about this, but I actually did relatively enjoy my experience.
mhm.
Just because I think it was fun to sort of explore, but at least see the pretty visuals. Like I think
Yeah,
this is a really cool visual showcase.
Mm.
It's ray traced everything, like everything is ray traced basically. Which is why I think it was like almost like the test bed for them to flesh out their graphical capability when designing
Yeah.
a game.
Mhm.
Because I think the graphics are the best part of this game,
Mhm.
and everything else falls short.
Yep.
Where I think in terms of game design, it's kind of basic. There's not a lot of variety in interactions. A lot of the time, you're just trying to find a way to open a door, and then you open that door, and then you enter a new area where you might have to fight some enemies or sneak past them, and
Mhm.
then open another door. And it's very linear. Like there
Mhm.
isn't. It may look like you're in this huge, vast area, but there are really only
Like
there's only
a
one direct route, and then there's a few rooms you can explore to get some ammo.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but there is kind of an abundance of ammo, and so
Okay.
you don't. There's not really much reason to explore. You know,
Mm.
it's sort of
Mhm.
like find the most direct route, kill the enemies you have to, go to the next objective.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
they also don't kind of give you objectives, right? It's just kind of like, I mean, you have like your diary that gives you like, hey, you should go this way.
Mhm.
But because there's only one route, you sort of already know where you have to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Um, so yeah, game design wise, it didn't. It's not really inspired in any way. I think it's sort of just, as I said, it's just a test bed for graphics to me.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
or at least this feels like maybe an introduction to making games.
Yeah, 100%.
It was cheap. It was like $20,
Yeah,
twenty
that's
five
not bad.
dollars.
That's not bad.
But it was also 2.5 hours. So it
Oh,
was
yeah,
short. It's
shorter.
short. There is sort of replayability in that if you want to go for collectibles, you can do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I didn't feel the need to go back after I was done.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that it's weird because the ending, I'm not gonna obviously won't spoil it in case someone hears my riveting, rousing
Review.
review of this and thinks, "Oh, I might try this out." It kind of ended, and I was like, "Huh?" Like it didn't.
It didn't feel like a proper
I
ending.
feel like I needed to pick up more notes to understand what was actually happening.
Yeah.
But I feel like the designers almost thought that it was a given that people would understand what was going on, and they were like, "Here, I'm
Yeah.
gonna show you. I'm gonna do this really heartfelt kind of finale." But it didn't really. It didn't hit me.
It
Like it
didn't
didn't. I
didn't
didn't
feel it?
feel
Yeah.
anything really.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just think from a combat perspective, like it's not super satisfying. Like if you're watching the YouTube video, the combat doesn't feel great. The handgun in particular feels pretty
It
lifeless
looks
to
clunky.
use.
It looks a little bit clunky as
It's
well.
definitely clunky. You do get some weapons later on that feel really nice, I will
Mhm.
say. Like the shotgun and the sniper feel really meaty.
Yeah.
Particularly the shot. I think the shotgun is the best kind of feeling weapon in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that being said, it's sort of and it's not difficult, but I feel like there's more games that I've experienced a good feeling shotgun versus a bad feeling one, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
100%. Shotgun is, I feel like one of the easier weapons to actually get a good feel out of. You know what I mean? Like it's a like you gotta get a good noise, has to get it feel like a good kick, makes it spread. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and obviously, I don't want to say like any of this is easy because obviously, this
Oh
is
yeah,
game
no, of
development is
course,
super
yeah,
difficult.
100%.
But I think the shotgun is maybe one of the easier weapons to get right because it's
Yeah.
just a loud boom. It's a
Mhm.
one shot kill weapon. The enemy goes down quickly. It's
Mhm.
sort of inherently satisfying, no matter if and I guess like if they could what could have gone wrong is maybe the sound effect doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
the enemy dying doesn't look great.
Mhm.
So I want to give them at least some credit for that, where the shotgun
100%.
felt great.
100%.
There's a really annoying segment in this game
Yeah.
where you are sort of you're traversing this sort of train station area, and you have to turn on these switches on the left and right of the room,
Mhm.
and they are constantly sending enemies at you. They don't stop respawning.
Ooh, those are always not the fun thing.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a bug in the game, or at least it looked like it, where the pathing breaks for the enemies because it got to a point where there were so many enemies stacked in the room that they were all in the center on the staircase, just lined up but not moving.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was like they were pathing towards me, but then they all got stuck on each other.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think the devs have even said like they wanted to just, they could have worked on this game for another year to polish it up, but they wanted to work on something new.
Okay. Okay.
So and yeah, honestly, it's a good first game. I think
Yes.
it's a good attempt. I would be if I was a developer and I made this game, I'd be proud of it
Yep, yep.
because I think it shows that
Have skill, like they have
they've
a
definitely got the skills. They've
yeah, they
definitely
got the
got the technical ability, and I think whatever that they do next will be a lot better.
mhm, mhm.
Um, and I'm happy to support it. Like I'm happy to
Yeah,
pay the $20 to play it because
yep,
like I feel like the indie game developers are like kind of like the test bed and like for where you
100%.
get a lot of innovation. And if
Mhm.
you don't support them, you're just going to get a lot of open world games with
Yeah.
checklists.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and so I appreciate that it's sort of bringing back. Here's the shotgun, by the way. The
Mhm.
shotgun looks cool as well.
It does look
All
really
the
cool,
all
yeah.
the all the weapon models and everything looks really great. It's all ray
Yeah.
traced, like all the gun like metal is reactive to the light, which looks really good.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's a good first attempt,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but maybe I'd recommend it on the merit of supporting indie
The
developers.
developers. Yeah, understandable. That's understandable. Okay.
So there's that.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Hold on a
Alrighty.
second.
That's okay.
My mouse was my mouse I wasn't using it for a while,
Oh,
and so
yeah?
the it went back to like 1600 DPI, and so it's just
Oh,
whizzing across my anyway.
very good. Very good.
Scuffed
Alrighty.
edition, by the way, scuffed. Anyway,
Exactly.
uh,
So
so what else have you been playing this week?
so I've talked to you and I said how Breath of the Wild is very similar to Elden Ring, right? I explained that. I explained that.
We did.
It was
So you've
so
been
similar,
playing it,
it made me want to play Elden Ring.
right? Right.
So I literally was playing Breath of the Wild, and I was getting on and off, and then it got later, and I was like, "Damn, I really want to play Elden Ring." So I re-downloaded it, and I'm playing Breath of the Wild. But I've also been playing Elden Ring on the side as
So
well.
what are
Okay.
you doing in Elden Ring this time around that you weren't doing last time?
Okay. I want to. So that's actually a more complicated question. I want to ask you quickly. How many runs have you think I've gone and done in the last week? Like how many
Oh, you're
playthroughs?
speed running this game.
I I have done 3 separate runs.
Mhm.
3 separate runs. So one was a speed run. So I'll explain it first. My very first one was I wanted to go, and do a new game plus, not
Right.
realizing I already started one, so I was already at Morgoth. So I quickly finished off that, and I just killed the rest of the bosses, and I am now starting out another new game plus, because I want to get 100% and all the incantations and whatnot.
Of course.
And then after I did that, I was like, "You know what? With everything I know about, Elden Ring and everything, I wanted to see how quick I could get through it by using every cheese, every exploit, everything possible to see how quick I get through it." So I sort of, yeah, kind of speed run through the game.
Mhm.
And I will say, I forgot how much I love this game. Like I was like,
How
I
could you
sat
forget?
like, I was sitting there
I
and
think
I was
about
like,
Elden Ring every day.
yeah, no, but like I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, like, because I do know how much I really enjoyed the game, but
Mhm.
I've been replaying it, and I forgot just how the builds work and how many different type of builds you can make and whatnot. And
So are you
when I
doing a different build this time around?
yeah, so
Like
the
in your
build
runs, like
yeah, so usually I use colossal weapons. My first couple of runs, I did colossal weapons. I used the Godslayer Great
me too.
Sword. They're really fun. I really enjoyed it. But this time around, I went more dumb. When I did my speed run, I don't know if you ever seen this weapon. It's called the Rusted Anchor. It's a
I have
giant.
seen it. I saw someone fucking destroy Millennia with it.
Yes, it is. I didn't think it was as good as I expected. Literally, it's for
It
people that
stun locks
don't
them.
know. Yeah, for people that don't know Elden Ring, there's a weapon that is an anchor from a ship. It's a giant anchor. That's literally all it is. And you carry
I love
around,
shit
you
like
two
that.
handed. And what I did was I got a bunch of incantations that buffed the weapon. Okay, and I got a buff of talismans that buffed me, and I basically very quickly through the game was 1-2 shotting all the bosses. Like I got the right build and I
Jesus.
was just destroying
Just destroying
every
everything.
single boss. Yeah, like
Yeah.
and that's what I love about the game. If you're like because when the game first came out, people were like, it's really hard, it's really tough, it needs to be easier mode. But playing it through like that, shit, this game is really easy if you want it to be. like
Oh, absolutely. Like I even think my build, I was using I was using it was sort of the Game of Thrones reference, where
yeah.
it's the sword with like the made of swords.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the
It's
graphic
called
great
the
story. Yeah, the
yeah, the
graphic
great
great
yeah, yeah.
story. Mhm.
And that, dude, I just built all into
Destroyed.
Colossal, and I
Yeah.
was
You
literally
shred.
being able to jump and do a heavy attack and
Mhm.
stunning everything.
Yeah, it's insane. It's actually insane, like
So
the
like,
different
yeah, and I
builds.
do agree. Like, it is. I mean, I think even if you're kind of cheesing it, it's probably tougher than the average AAA
Oh,
game.
that's the thing is that, like, Elden Ring is still a tough game, even when you're cheesing. You still like, need to have knowledge of the bosses and how their attack patterns and whatnot work, and how to dodge and everything, and how iframes work. But it is not as difficult. It's not an impossible game. It's not hard. You can get builds that can literally delete bosses in like a good 10 seconds, right? You can easily, and you
Oh
have
yeah.
summons that can help you and whatnot as well. And there are people that have done like summon only runs and whatnot. And if you're really struggling, just go a sorcerer build, get Common Azure, and just go infinite FP, and you'll kill the bosses
I mean, I
easily.
will say it's so I started so the thing with a sorcerer build is you sort of need to know where the good incantations are at the
Exactly.
beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't when I did because I tried a PC
Oh,
like sorcerer build
yeah.
and I didn't know where anything was, any good stuff.
Mhm.
So I was getting my shit kicked in more so
Yeah.
than I was at the beginning when I was just using great swords. So
Yeah, there's
there is
definitely
that.
like there's definitely a knowledge that kind of comes into like how to start the game. You know what I mean? Like if you want to start it properly. Like for example, like so if you don't play Elden Ring, I imagine most people have, but there's in Caelid, there's a way to get to a giant dragon, and if you have a
Mhm.
bleed weapon, you can kill it, and off the start, you'll get
Gives you
like
75,000.
70,000. Yeah, and if you
Yeah.
get a gold pickled foot, which increases your rune gains, you can get 100,000 runes off the bat. That gets you like level 35. So you're already over leveled for like Margit, right? For example. Um, and you can get through stuff really easily. And there's like good weapons you can get very, very easily, very early on.
I will say though that while you can make it easy by knowing where the good stuff is, right?
Mhm.
There is something special about doing your first run and not knowing anything.
100%. There is definitely a very
That
big
like,
difference.
you know, I think it's definitely a player choice where you can, you know, if you're having a tough time and you still want to get through it, then if you want, you know, if you want to keep playing it,
Mhm,
by all means,
mhm.
go look up guides on how to do OP builds to get crazy good so you can
Yeah.
experience the game. Totally
Mhm.
understand that. You bought the game, you should do it that way.
Yeah.
But I would say like if someone's starting out playing Elden Ring, the first thing they should do is just to kind of just walk around and
That
get your
is.
shit kicked in and find rooms with bosses that one hit you and find
Mhm,
enemies that are way too fast for you that you can't really take care of,
mhm.
or like dungeons that look scary or areas
I.
that you try to hit them and you do like no damage
Mhm.
because that's kind of like that's
That
what
is.
made this game for me, to be
This is.
honest.
I was gonna say this is what I love about the game as well. That's exactly where I was gonna kind of end off. Is that one thing I love about Elden Ring is that it gave me that sense of joy as when I first played it, right? When I first went through the game and I didn't really know what to do because like I didn't look up anything when it came to the Rusted Anchor build. I didn't know anything. I just kind of came with the knowledge I already had, right? But it gave me that joy of what Elden Ring is. And I was gonna say exactly what you did. Like if you're going into the game blind, go into it blind. You're gonna get your shit kicked in. You might not have a good time, but eventually, you will get strong enough. Like in the game, there's as I said, so many ways for you to get strong enough to kill whatever you want, and you'll eventually find him. You just got to explore and actually find it, right? And that's what makes the game so special. Is that?
Yeah, like I was saying this on a when I was playing Industria actually, because one of my viewers was talking about how they tried Sekiro and they couldn't get into it, and
Mm,
I said like Sekiro is a game that is very demanding in terms of playability, and it doesn't give you an easy out. Like
yes.
there's no easy way to get through Sekiro. It's either
Mhm.
you master the mechanic of parrying, or you don't finish the game.
Yes.
The best thing about Elden Ring is that yeah, there's tough enemies, there's tough sections of the map, there's tough bosses, but the best thing is that if you're getting your shit kicked in for like an hour or even 10 minutes and you're like, I don't want to fight this thing anymore, you can just be like, okay, I'm going to go over here because the map's so big and it keeps
Mm,
getting bigger and bigger. And you're like, oh,
it
surely
really does. Yeah.
we're at nearly the end, right? And I love
Mm,
the best thing about, well, not one of them, the best thing, but one of the good things about Elden Ring is like they make the map the size of how much you've explored, and then when
yeah.
you see the area, it goes bigger, and then
Mhm,
it goes bigger, and
mhm,
I love that because I was always guessing, like I was always like, how much bigger could it possibly be?
mhm, mhm.
Um, Even when I finished like most of the beginning area, I was like, I mean, most From Software games, they're like 20, 30 hours. And at that
Yeah.
point, I'd already done like 25 hours. I was like, maybe there's like one more area and then that's
Mhm.
it, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I got to what is it, Luonia of the Lake,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Holy shit, this is bigger than the starting area."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you get to the next area, and the next area, and the next area, and you're like, "Oh,
I.
dude, like, how is this game? How did they even make this? How did they construct this in a timely manner and it release and not be completely fucking busted.
I
I don't
had
know.
that exact thing when I killed Morgoth for my first time. I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm at this big city. This looks like the final area. This looks like it, right?" And I wasn't wrong. It is the final area, but guess what? You have to go to an offshoot to the mountains now, and then there is a smaller part of the mountain, and then you go one more area after that you're
Dude,
going to
that
as
it's
well.
so crazy how big it is.
It's such a big
And it's funny,
game.
like I do think that um my one critique of how big the game gets is that they start to not fill it up as much.
Mm,
Whereas, like, like in the intro area, you walk a few steps and you'll
mm,
see something new, or find a passageway or a cave or a group of enemies. And like the further you get into the game, the more kind of that the more stuff they throw at you in terms of like just a big pack of enemies, but not really anything
mhm.
necessarily interesting. And
I
like, don't get me wrong, there's still interesting stuff, but it definitely starts to lose steam in a way that other From Software games don't, because I think they're paced a bit better in terms of, I
yeah.
mean, they're not 100 hours long. Like,
Yeah, so I was gonna
that's
say
the
that
thing.
when you get to the mountaintops, that's where I noticed that you started getting reused enemies. You got like ogre with fur, dog with fur. You know what I mean? Like you got like different
Stronger version of an enemy you already fought. Like,
exactly.
I think enemy variety is something that Elden Ring excels at the beginning, but then
It,
obviously as the game goes on,
it starts to struggle all
that fades away, and you are, I mean, there are like 100 and something bosses in the game,
the time.
and 70 of them are unique, but
There's
the
a
other
lot that
40 are
yeah.
duplicates. So
Mhm.
there is that obviously, but it's still fun to fight in general. Like,
I
even if I'm fighting
yeah.
the same thing again,
Mhm.
still feels good. It
There's
still
so many
feels fun
weapons
to
that feel
fight like
fun.
another magma lizard,
Yeah.
or the cat, the stone cat, or like, I don't
Mhm.
remember their names obviously, but they're
The
fun to
only
fight.
I'll leave it off with this. The only enemy I hate fighting is the goddamn grafted scion. You know that bitch that like has the cape, all the different arms, it has the
Oh,
shield
really? You hate
and the
fighting
sword.
him?
No, no,
The
no,
thing that
not
the fucker that's showing on screen right now is a piece of shit. In
oh, Loretta?
this
Loretta?
specific version, yeah,
Really? You
Rogar
didn't like
Loretta.
his position? You
I mean,
really?
he actually wasn't too difficult because I was using a mimic, but
You
and
I
I'm swearing by it. I fucking got carried by by my mimic in this game,
oh, yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
I played it before the patch where they
Mhm,
nerfed it.
mhm.
Um,
Mimic is even
if
good
without
after
the
patch.
mimic, I wouldn't have beaten Melania.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have beaten
Even
her.
oh, I actually have a quick tip. I actually do have a quick tip. I learned this recently because I actually fought Millennia. If you get frozen pots, okay? You get frozen pots, she starts to
Mm,
do a waterfowl dance, throw a frozen pot at her, gets her out of it, cancels it.
okay.
Yeah, so you could just complete swipe, and that's on both phases. That's both phases. So if you're struggling with that, frozen pots saves
It
your
was so
ass.
funny. Like when I first started fighting Melania, um, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this is gonna take me days.
Yeah.
Like, it is gonna take me legitimately days to beat this bitch.
Mhm.
Um, but then I beat her in 2 hours. So,
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing is that like
I honestly I got lucky. She wasn't using her. I mean, every time she used the 5 rapid attacks in a
the
row, the
waterfowl. Yeah.
waterfowl dance. I was far away. I wasn't near her.
Oh, so you weren't close
She
enough.
was
Yeah.
doing it because she was aggroed onto my mimic.
Oh, that's perfect. That's
And
perfect. Yeah.
obviously she hits the mimic, still gives her health.
Yeah.
But
But
Mimic and
you get
I,
like
dude, we fucking we clowned her.
yeah.
We were beating her ass. And also the fucking grafted greatsword, you just
Mhm.
slam her a couple times, she gets
She
stunned,
she is
and you
very
just go
easy
to
to be
town.
stunned. She is very easy to be stunned, so colossal weapons are very good in that aspect. They're very, very good in that aspect. But like this is one thing that I love about like all from software games. They're difficult. Elden Ring is difficult. Yes, you can make it easy, but it is difficult. Sekiro, probably one of the more difficult ones, right? What I love
Sekiro is the
about
hardest From Software game by far.
oh, 100%. I would probably agree. Yeah. Like I think
Just
what
because,
most people
it's funny, it actually hasn't been the most difficult. This sounds like I'm like gloating, but it wasn't the most difficult for me because the mechanic of parrying it clicked with me. Like, I just
yeah.
got it. I
Mhm.
just got how to
Mhm.
do it. Every enemy I fought, I was able to pick up on their patterns,
Mhm.
and I didn't really struggle. I mean, I struggled the first time through it, right? Because
Mhm.
I started playing it, got to the last boss, was getting my shit kicked in, and stopped.
Mhm.
And last year, I started up a new playthrough, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't like, I know what's coming," and so it makes it a bit easier.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
wasn't really getting stuck, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I might be able to finish this.
Mm.
And then I got to the last boss and I beat him on my third go, and I was like, oh, okay,
Okay.
like I mastered this game this time. Like the first time
Yeah.
I didn't. Like,
Mhm.
but this time
Mhm.
I really like got it.
Mhm.
But if you don't get it, you're gonna
Yeah.
get like you can't beat it. Like it is not possible to beat
Yes,
if you
without knowing
don't
the
know
parry.
how to do the parry
But
mechanic well.
that's the thing is that, like, that's what I love about From Software is that there's something to learn. There's always something to learn in Sekiro because, like, the thing is you can't beat Sekiro. You just gotta learn the parry mechanic, and, like, that's not an impossible task. Anyone could learn the parry mechanic. You just gotta practice. That's the thing. You just gotta practice it. You know what I mean? Elden Ring, there's like a knowledge base to it. In Dark Souls 3, there is also like a knowledge, but there's also a knowledge of how to do your iframes well and stuff like that. Bloodborne is I actually forget, isn't Bloodborne like trick weapons?
Bloodborne
Bloodborne
is I mean, I
Bloodborne's
feel
different.
like a lot of it's funny, like I feel like all the From Software games except for Sekiro have the same kind of learning curve where
Yes.
you're sort of learning the same kind of things in
Mhm,
different ways.
mhm,
Where
mhm.
Bloodborne is just I mean, the key mechanic is that you need to keep being aggressive. You
Yeah,
can't
100%.
in Bloodborne you can't be passive.
Mhm.
You need to if you get hit, you need to go hit harder because
Yeah.
hitting them gives you your health back
Mhm.
for a short amount of time. So that's the key with Bloodborne.
Mechanic,
I
yeah.
think with the Dark Souls games is it is getting that timing down on the dodge
Blocking
and
dodges,
also
yeah.
being aware of what you're carrying, obviously, because you
Yeah.
don't want to be fat rolling because that
Mhm.
will
That screws you
I
up.
mean it's possible to beat, but it's
Yeah.
much
It's
tougher
fun.
to do it that
It's
way.
hard. Yeah.
Elden Ring, I think the key takeaway for Elden Ring is learning to walk away.
Yes, I yeah, 100%. I think to know when to engage and when to disengage, and I think one thing with Elden Ring is that there are some attacks that are straight up just bullshit. There are some attacks in Elden
Oh
Ring
yeah.
that are straight up just
What
bullshit,
about
and
those
I
unholy fuckers, the ones that come out of the ground? And they've
oh
got all the
god,
arms and they do the constant
that tho
fucking
those are
the
the
stun
graphic
locking attack?
that's the graphic styles. Those are those. That's the graphic
Oh, I
styles.
thought you were talking about the other one, the one that you the first one you fight. You know
No, no, no,
the
no, not Godric, not Godric.
no. I mean like in the entry area when you
Oh,
first
no, no, no.
spawn
So, yeah,
and then
that
you
is
get killed by that person.
that's a graphic style, but all the bitches that come on the floor with all the arms, those are just graphic styles as well. They're all the
Well,
same. That one's just
they're not called graph designs, but
are they
they're
called like
like
graphic?
they're no,
Called
they're called they're a different faction, but I know yeah, they've
they're
got multiple arms and
they're
they tell the way they spawn in is they just come out of the ground and they
yeah,
fucking rush you.
yeah, they're pieces of shit to fight. I hate them. I hate
They
them.
are
But
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I agree with that. They are the worst thing to fight in that
they
game for
they
sure.
are very annoying.
You know,
We
little tip I learned, which I didn't know. If you have if you've got a faith build and you
yes.
use one of the faith healing abilities
Mhm.
near them, it
It
completely fucking
it burns them.
stuns
Exactly.
them.
It's
Yeah.
really cool. It's really cool. Um, I'll say one more thing because this is one thing that just annoyed me, and then I will let you get to your next game. Elden Beast. I hate it. I hate
You
it.
hate the Elden Beast?
I love Radagon.
We won't go into details about him because obviously
I
you know
won't.
some people might it might be their first time they might
Exactly.
play it. Who knows?
Yeah, this might be a little spoiler. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Radagon, love him. Really cool. Elden Beast, I hate how you can do multiple attacks at the same time. That's it. That's
I still love my favorite thing about From Software games is when you're going through a blind and you think you've beaten a boss after the first phase
yeah,
or the second phase and it's like
yeah,
and you like get a cutscene and
yeah,
then it keeps going and you're like
yeah. I
and then
think
they're gonna drop dead, right? And then they're gonna stop moving, right?
yeah.
And oh, they're not stopping.
The
They're getting more they're getting more fucked up. Oh, they're
yeah,
changing. They're evolving. They're getting worse. Oh,
my
second phase.
my favorite moment of that is Guardian Ape from Sekiro. I love seeing that
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
that's a good
Where
one.
you
Dude,
kill him, you
you know what I
literally
hate about
kill him.
that? Is
What?
that every fucking review before the game pre-release review came out, everyone talked about that fight. So I
Really?
knew it was coming because every single like video review, written review, they were all talking about it because they were like,
Yeah,
dude, there's this crazy moment where the ape, you chop its head off and then it comes back to life. It's like,
it
well,
just ruins
okay,
it.
it's a
Boom.
great moment that I would have really liked to not know about,
Yeah,
but
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
I hate
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah, shit
I
like
don't
that.
read reviews anymore for that because I feel like they
Mhm,
do that a lot where they're like, dude, there was this moment where da 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 da. Da." I'm like, well, I wanted to experience that myself. I just wanted you to
yeah,
tell me if the game was good
mhm,
and just generalizations of what you liked about it, not like
yeah.
here's
This is
exactly what I liked about it.
this is one moment I'm gonna say spoiler quickly, and I will say spoiler quickly here because it's very early game.
Spoilerinos.
It's very early game. It's very very early game. But this is the moment that I so glad I went in blind and saw this, and I don't want anyone to be spoiled by it. Godric. when you go into his second phase and he just rips the head off and grabs it to his arm. One of my favorite moments. I love that moment. It was so cool because he just rips it off and starts breathing.
I love that fight, dude.
It's
I
I
remember playing
really
it and being like beating him and being like, "I feel invincible. I feel like I
I
can't be stopped." And then I got my shit kicked in by a bear outside the door.
yeah.
You walk through the door, get to Luania of the Lake, and there's a bear that just fucking tramples you, and you're like, "Oh, okay. Oh, welcome to Elden Ring, bitch. Like, here we
Yeah,
go. You
like,
just started."
that fight I feel like was underutilized. I'm glad it was earlier, but I feel like it was a little bit underutilized because it was such an epic fight. It was such an epic fight. You have
It's one of my favorite fights in the game,
yeah, like, if I could rank,
and
like
it's pretty early. Like,
if I could rank, like, my top 3 fights, that would definitely be one of them. I would go probably I actually would say Melania is up there. I really do like Melania as a fight.
I hate Millennium.
I
I think
really
she's so cheap. Like, I feel like that's one of the From Software bosses where I feel like they just made her annoying because
mm,
they just wanted to flex, like, let's make her annoying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just make this boss really just not exactly fun. I can't say that I had fun fighting Millennia. I can
yeah,
say I enjoyed it when she was dead,
mhm,
but fighting her, I was like, oh god, like the whole health regen stuff, and
yeah,
like the fact that when she hit you, it was much more than you had done to her. Like two
yeah,
hits,
mhm,
if you got hit by her, that was like 3 hits worth of health,
mhm,
and so it was a constant uphill battle to fight her. And
yes.
her attacks, like no matter how much health, how many points I put into health, she would still like
Do a lot of damage.
that waterfowl dance would still fuck me up every
Mhm.
time, and it was
I
super frustrating to fight her, and I think they nerfed her since then. Pretty sure.
they did nerf her a little bit, and definitely the ice pots have helped a lot. But
Yep.
I just enjoy the fight because it is a hard fight, and yes, there is some cheesy bullshit with it,
Mm.
100%. But I think it just comes down to the fact it's one of the final fights. You were already so powerful, and you're versing a being that's still stronger than you, and you finally kill it. It feels good. Um, but something in a very similar note to that, Radon, one of my favorite fights, just a cinematic
Oh,
version of
he's great. He's That's a great fight.
like you can go by yourself and 1v1 him, or you can summon everybody and run with everybody at you.
That fight is meant to you are
It's
meant to summon everything.
you are meant
They
to.
dude, From Software was like, "Hey, this is." We usually I feel like a lot of fights are like, you can summon, but they weren't really designed for summons in mind. Like, summons make it easier because they want you to it's sort of meant to be like a one-on-one experience. That
Mhm.
fight was like they designed that
They designed it around something.
for those summons to pop off. And even if they don't necessarily help you a lot, it's still cool everyone rushing this
Yeah,
fucking beast.
like
Like,
story wise, it's sick. I love it, and like there's people that solo it, but I love doing summons with it. And the moment where you hit phase two, he jumps away, you're like what the fuck, and he meteors in and slams down.
the meteor,
Really
dude.
cool. I love it. It's such a good
I
fight.
knew about the meteor.
You did?
Because yeah,
Oh,
because you go on, bro. Here's the thing, man. Like a big game comes out, you go on Twitter. There's clips fucking everywhere about every fight, hours before you get to them.
mhm,
And so, yeah, I saw a clip of someone just standing in the middle of the field, and then the fucking Radon missile comes in and fucking wipes them out.
mhm.
So I never
That
got hit by it.
that's really sad.
I beat him my second time.
That's really sad.
Um,
That's really
I well,
unfortunate.
actually no, it wasn't my second time. It was probably my fifth or sixth, just because it was so hard getting used to his attacks because you want to be close, but you
Mhm.
don't want to. His attacks are he's got such sweeping attacks
He does.
that it's like, oh shit, I can't really be close to him, but I need to be close to him. And it's like, oh fuck,
Mhm. Yeah.
I gotta
Very
play
good
Elden
though.
Ring again.
Yeah, very good
But
game. I
I've still got Red Dead Redemption 2 on the back burner that I've been
true, and
neglecting.
I said to you
And
this
you've got
before.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I got Breath of the Wild.
You got two of the biggest open world games ever made
Yeah,
to play
and
all at
I
once.
I told you this before. I'm doing the Souls series and all of the software games backwards. I started with Elden Ring, so I'm actually going to go to Sekiro next, and I'm going to finish that off.
It's good.
Um,
It's doable now because like Demon Souls on
yeah,
PS5.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go backwards to it. But anyway, we've talked about Elden Ring for a while now, so I'm gonna let you go. You've been playing a
That's
interesting.
fine. This has already been a quick old podcast. It's only been an
Yeah,
hour. It's only been
yeah,
one
it's only
hour.
been an hour. Oh, perfect.
Um,
That's great.
I
You can
am
go
planning
next.
to talk about this game for a while.
Mhm.
For a while.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a controversial one.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of uh the discourse around this game has, I have to
Yes.
say, been insufferable to
Mhm.
experience. From both sides, from the people who are buying the multiple copies of this game to shit on trans people, to the people who are spoiling the game for people who bought the game because they think that everyone who bought this game is a bigot. Holy shit, I fucking hate all of
You
this.
hate
I
it?
hate this whole I
Yeah.
hate this whole this I cannot wait for people to stop talking about this game.
Okay.
That being said, this game this game fucking surprised me, okay? This game really, really fucking surprised me. Like, I wish I could come here and say, "This game is fucking shit, and you should
Mhm.
not buy it because it is really bad, and it's fine that you skip it because, it's a bad game." Um, this game is like so the way I've sort of been internally thinking about it is like it is like micro dosing serotonin.
Mm.
The
Mhm.
way I think about it is like every single little moment in this game, just little cherry picked moments that are like, oh, nostalgia, oh, nostalgia, oh,
Mhm.
nostalgia,
Mhm.
oh, good gameplay, oh, good environment. So it's not just nostalgia. Like I know that's definitely like a core part of this game. I think if you're not a Harry Potter fan, you probably won't get I mean, you obviously won't get as much out of this game as someone who is a Harry Potter fan because you won't notice some of the things that are like, "Oh shit, I remember that from the movies," or "Oh shit, I remember reading about that in the books."
Mhm.
Um, what the biggest surprise for me is how good the combat is.
Yeah,
Because
like, I'm watching
I
this
mean,
right now, the
I
dude
would
like
constantly say like leading up to launch, like the combat looks fucking boring. Like you're
mm.
dodge rolling and you're doing these parries and it looks like you're just spamming abilities.
Mhm.
But that is not how this game works at all. It's like so I mean, a lot of people leading up to launch, pre-launch was like, "Oh, they've turned it into like a third-person shooter
Mhm.
where you're pressing the right trigger, you're like shooting like it's like you're shooting bullets but they're spells."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um Not like that at all. So the way it works is you have a central kind of basic combat spell.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you press the right trigger, you just do this basic spell that does some damage.
Mhm.
Throughout the game, you unlock new spells like Levioso. You unlock now I've got to rep my fucking Harry Potter knowledge. You unlock Incendio. You unlock I can't remember any of these spells, man. You unlock a lot of spells that you, if you've read the books, if you watch the movie, you recognize these spells.
Yeah,
You got the spell that makes your wand go light. You got
yeah.
the spell. It's funny how I say that I'm a Harry Potter fan, but then when I'm on the spot,
And
I'm like,
it's
I don't fucking remember these. Um, you unlock a spell that makes you Accio is another spell. Levioso is used to like stun enemies. Like so
Mhm.
here, so right. Let me explain the combat. You got the this basic spell, and then you have these other spells that you use with right trigger, and then you press either any of the face buttons, A, B, X, or Y. Um, and that kind of uh stuns the enemy in the air. Some of them
Mhm.
do. Levioso, Accio, both of those are sort of the common basic spells that you get early on that will
Yep.
suspend your enemy in the air. And it sort of becomes like a rhythm game where you
Oh,
press
okay.
your like stun ability. So say you use Levioso, enemies
Mhm.
in the air like flailing. You do four basic shots, and then you do Accio, and then the enemy's still juggled in the air,
Mhm.
and you so you're sort of
So you're kinda
timing.
juggling. You're kinda
You're kind
juggling.
of juggling enemies.
Mhm.
And then they get deeper a little bit. So I will say I'm only 9 hours. I say only. I'm 9 hours into this game. This game came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Game came out yesterday.
Okay.
I am
You're
nine fucking
addicted.
hours into this
You
game.
love it. You love
I cannot stop. I had to pull myself away from it last
it.
night.
You okay.
As I haven't played any today. I will be playing a lot on the
You
weekend.
did 9 hours, look at Jesus.
9 hours. I got up, literally got
Okay.
up early in the morning. I got up at 6 a.m. yesterday, played it, then did real life stuff,
Mhm.
came home, and then played it
You played
basically
it some more.
all afternoon at
Played some
night.
more. Yeah.
um, yeah, so the combat is like kind of the standout, which I'm
Mhm.
shocked by. Like, you have the basic kind of juggling mechanic, and I think there's 26 spells,
Mhm.
and those spells have like a color associated with them. And then you'll find enemies that have a certain shield that has a color. And then you use those spells. If you've got Levioso is a yellow spell, you use that on yellow shields to break them, and then you can start doing your chaining. You also have a parry, so if an enemy attacks you, you press Y at the right time,
Mhm.
and it parries the attack. If you hold Y, it does like a counter parry, like a counter attack.
Yep, yep, yep.
It's I don't know why it's so hard to explain this game, but it just it I'm sort of thinking about because there's so much in this game. So I'm sort
Mhm.
of thinking ahead while I'm talking about what I'm talking about right now.
Yep, yep, yep.
But yeah, combat really satisfying. Probably doesn't look like it's satisfying, but actually
It just
pulling it
feels good.
off,
It feels good.
pulling off like a 30 spell combo on an enemy and juggling them in the air is really, really satisfying. And
Mhm.
I'm really impressed with it. Like, I just think it's fun
Is
moment to
this
moment.
is this a single player only game or is this multiplayer as well?
Only single player.
Only single player. Okay, that's good. That's good then.
You are so you're a student, just to set up story wise. I will say the story so far is nothing to. It's not
Run home
why I'm
about?
playing.
Yeah, nothing to run home about.
You are a fifth year joining Hogwarts as a fifth year.
Oh, okay.
And that's a rarity, right?
Yeah.
You join year one, like Harry. Um, yeah, so you're fifth year, you have a companion, mentor, who's been teaching you during the summer break, and stuff happens. There's a dragon attack. You're in these ruins. You go to Gringotts, and there's this goblin uprising and ancient magic, and you're set off on this adventure. And oh, you're also a student, so you got to go to class. And so it's the typical, like, almost like a Spider-Man kind of thing, where he's like juggling school, but also being like maybe the savior of all of the
Yeah.
wizarding world.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, so it's pretty typical. It's pretty cliche. I will say, like, in terms of some of the main missions require you to go to classes. Like, on screen now is this is Charms class, and you go to these classes to learn new spells. And the teachers are really fun to listen to. Like, I think they've got a lot of personality, and I think the cutscenes are really well framed, and the voice acting's really good so far. Yeah, it's just fun to just listen and just take it all in. I think there's just a really cool kind of immersive nature to the game where hours kind of just fall away when I'm playing it, where it's like, oh well, these missions aren't that long, so I'll just play a little bit more. I'll do another mission and another one.
It's
and
one
it's
of those
just
addicting factors. Yeah, yeah.
and then it's like, oh shit, I've been playing 2 hours more than I was meant to.
Mhm.
It's one of those games for me where I just really enjoy the loop of going to class, learning a new spell, going into the open world, killing enemies, finding treasures, puzzles. This game is full of puzzles. Like,
Mhm.
I think I've played 9 hours and I think I've solved maybe like 30 different puzzles already.
Oh, wow.
And like they can be like kind of small,
Yeah.
small stuff. Just while I have a water, real quick.
Mhm.
What do you think about, like, are you gonna play this game, do you think?
I'm definitely gonna play this game, most likely. I don't know entirely if I will fully get into it because I'm not a big person with Harry Potter, but
Mhm.
from the gameplay I'm seeing, and from how you explained, it does look fun. It does look quite fun. Like
It
I
really is. It is built around just fun. Like, it
yeah.
just, I don't know, there's something, it's almost indescribable how it makes me feel.
Mm.
And I think nostalgia is a lot to do with it. But
Yeah.
it is just, like, kinda satisfying from almost every perspective.
Mhm.
Like, when you finish a class and you learn a new spell, you get some XP and your level's going up.
Yeah.
This game is like a Destiny-like.
It's a Destiny like okay, I love it.
You
I
had
love
there is a screen, there is a gear screen where you were getting gear and it looks like Destiny.
I love it. I love it. That's
Like,
great.
if you could have told me like 10 years ago, like, you're gonna get a Harry Potter game and it's gonna be like one of your favorite first person shooters of all time.
You wouldn't.
And it's an open world checklist game with a massive open world. You can go on a broom, you can get mounts, you can go to class, you can solve puzzles, you can do side quests with other students and form relationships with them. Like, come on,
Wouldn't
man.
believe
Like, this is just,
wouldn't believe it.
bro, this is like, if you had have shown this game to me when I was playing like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the
Mhm,
original Xbox, which was one of the first games I ever beat,
mhm.
and you showed me this, and I was like, and you were like, this is gonna happen in 20 years from now. You were gonna be playing this. I would have probably shit, piss, and come all at once, and I couldn't even come back then. Like, that's not possible.
That's I love it. When you peek my microphone.
That's all right. It's worth the peak.
It's worth the peek, that's great.
And you know what I was saying before about Elden Ring, where it's like, Oh, this game is big, big. Like, you know,
Yeah,
Elden Ring was like, "Oh shit, this is like
this is big.
this is a big old game."
Mhm.
Hogwarts Legacy is a big old
It's
game.
a
Like
big,
it
big game.
is. So you start off and you've got a map to Hogwarts and
Yep.
you've got a map to Hogsmeade.
Mhm.
Hogsmeade, if you're not a Harry Potter fan, it's where all the cool wizards go to have a butterbeer, to get some new potions, some spells, go to,
Where the
just
cool
hang
kids go.
out.
Yeah, it's where the cool kids
It's the cool kids spot.
go. Mm.
And the cool thing about this is that they're connected. So like a lot of the time in the
Ooh.
movies, they would kind of like use a secret passageway to get to Hogsmeade quickly. In this game, when you first go to Hogsmeade, you just walk with another student from the outer gate straight to Hogsmeade, and it's like, oh shit, this is like I'm seeing part of this world that I haven't seen before,
Mhm.
and I just think, man, it is so impressive how they've connected everything.
Yeah.
'Cause you see the little dots of stuff from the movies and maybe stuff they've mentioned in the books, and it is so impressive to see it all kinda laid out for maybe the first time. Like, maybe there's been a proper map of Hogwarts before where you could, that they've taken inspiration from, but for me, this is the first time where I have been able to seamlessly visit the courtyard,
That's
one of the bridges. I've gone to the astronomy tower. Like, it's the first time that I feel like I've done that.
mhm.
And even in the games, like, It was it was semi, if the way I think about it, it was like you were sort of open world-ish where you could go through rooms, but it was probably just like my nostalgia eyes where I was like, there's probably like 4 or maybe a dozen rooms, and it
Yeah.
felt like I was exploring Hogwarts. This
Mhm.
game, I really feel like I am exploring, and even in 9 hours, I feel like I can find my way around.
Mm.
Like, they make it really easy as well with fast travel. Like, they sort of the in world way they do it is through the Flu network, which
Mhm.
if you watch the movies, that's when they do like the powder in like
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
fireplace, the
Mhm.
green powder. So that's how you fast travel in this game.
That's really
And they
cool.
make it really accessible where it's just like you can be anywhere on the map and you can be like, oh, you know what? Like I'm near Hogsmeade. I want to go I want to go to the Hogwarts the Gryffindor common room.
Mhm.
Let me just fast travel there. And it's
Yep.
super seamless, really quick with an SSD. I feel like it loads within like 5 to 10 seconds at most.
Yep. Yep.
So you can zip around this map. But yeah, as I was saying, like this game is big because you have those two maps, right? Those two locations, and I thought that was like most of the map.
Mhm.
And I've gotten to a point where they're like, okay, let's introduce you to some of the outer towns around Hogwarts, and like it is like an Elden Ring sized map where
Wow.
it is like a spanning coastal region all the way down at the south of the map. In the north, there's more kind of towns and villages. I've explored maybe like 10% of the map,
Mm.
maybe. And there's so much more to explore. And obviously that'll get easier when I get a broom. Don't have a broom yet. When I get
Yeah.
a mount, when I get a hippogriff. Don't have that yet either,
Mhm.
which I'm so excited for. Just to be able to seamlessly go to the
I
courtyard, get on a broom, and fucking zip around. Like, god
mm.
damn, man. Like,
I
it's just
I'm getting
go
really
on.
into this gameplay. Sorry, I was just gonna say, while you're talking, I'm watching this like in the background. I'm like listening to you, and I
And like
keep
it
lighting
is
up.
super
And I'm like,
basic. Like this is one of the first things you do in the game where
mm,
you're learning it's the one they've got on X where it's sort of it's Accio. You sort of
yeah,
bring stuff towards you.
hmm
And then they make a cool little fun little game out of it, which
and
is
it
pretty
just looks
basic. It's
fun.
not,
It
it's
does. Like I'm sitting here, I'm thinking like it just looks fun. You know what I mean? Like it does
and there
look.
is it doesn't look like it on the screen, but there is a bit of skill behind it where you have to time it kind of
Yeah.
correctly. It is, I mean, this game is made for, I would say, gamers and non-gamers alike because it's
Mhm.
such a huge intellectual property. Like, so they don't, it's not difficult, I would say.
Mhm.
Although I did start playing on hard difficulty. I started because I was like, oh, normal might be too easy. Hard's pretty hard. Like
I wonder
dude,
why.
they're like, okay, hey, hard, you're gonna have to really learn your parries, learn to
Mhm.
dodge. Because there's obviously stuff you can parry. There's some unparryable attacks where you have to dodge.
Mhm.
Um, the dodge is a little goofy looking because it's
Yeah.
like, it just feels weird that I'm dodging and then I'm going, like I'm using
Yep.
a wand instead of like melee combat. I don't know. I played a lot of From Software games, so it feels odd to me that that's kind
I
of how
think.
it looks.
Yeah.
I guess you do dodge rolls in third person shooters as well. I don't know.
Mhm.
It just
Mhm.
look maybe it's just the animation that looks kind of weird.
Yeah. 100%.
Um, and graphically, like it's pretty
It looks good.
impressive.
It looks good. It does. Like
It's
I don't
I was
think
gonna
it.
say some of the NPCs look a bit like I
Mhm.
think you can see the ones that they like your player character looks really good. Some of the teachers look really good. Some of the students you like interact with on multiple occasions look good. But some of the other students where you might have like one side quest look a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just resourcing and it's just scope and it makes sense why that would happen. It's an open world game. It's huge. Like
Mm.
it's fine. It didn't take me out of it. I didn't think, wow, this looks fucking terrible. I hate this
Yeah.
game. Refund. Uh, yeah, man.
It's
I don't
not
know.
bad. Look, I think it's good. I think it's good. I'll definitely pick it up. As I said, I was sitting there, I was getting pretty into this. I was watching this, I was getting pretty into this. I'm not gonna lie, but like, yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Like, I like it.
It's fulfilling a gaming fantasy that I've had for
A long
over
time.
20 years.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
And it's just they fucking did it. Like these
Mhm.
developers, their previous game was Toy Story 3.
Wow, that's
They
actually
have been making these like movie tie-in slash franchise kind of bloatware for ages. This is
there
like
you
their
go.
first proper AAA release, and it's like, yeah, man,
Good.
these devs fucking nailed it, dude. Like
Yeah.
these guys are super talented. They knew exactly what they were making. Um, I just, it's magical. It's a magical game. It fills me up. It's with good feelings and
Mhm.
happiness, and I mean, I could talk about this forever. Like
Yeah.
it's so dense with stuff to do.
Yeah.
I've just unlocked potion brewing where
Mhm.
you can like brew like health potions. And then it's kind of weird. They've got like almost like mobile game timers on them, which
Mm,
not sure about. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But
yeah.
you know, that's an aspect. Maybe I know there is you unlock like a hub base at some
Mhm.
point, which takes place in the room of requirement, which if you've read the books or watched the movie, you know that the room of requirement is a core part of the
Yeah.
lore, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And you can like it's full on like base building.
That's
Like
cool. That's really cool.
you can kind of customize it to how you like. And I've even seen some stores in Hogsmeade that give you like stations, like potion brewing stations, so you can do them from your hub base and then go out and do quests and whatever you want to do.
That's cool.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, man, so impressed by this game. It's
I
so fun. It's just it's a dream. It's a dream. It's a dream game. It's a
I'll
dream game
definitely
fulfilled and kind of they nailed it.
I'm definitely gonna pick this up, and I'll definitely talk to more about you with next week because this looks really interesting. I'm very excited for this.
I
Actually,
will
it looks
definitely playing a lot more, and I will have a lot more to talk about next week about this game
100%,
for sure,
100%.
100%.
Very good, very good. Alrighty,
And this guy's funny. This guy on the screen right now, he's a funny teacher. He's good.
he's funny. He's actually a good teacher.
All the
Okay.
teachers are great, and and apparently there's like 100 side missions.
Hmm.
And okay, one more thing.
Yes.
I will say that the side missions and the main missions haven't been the most like exciting in terms of maybe some of the objectives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Maybe that'll get better. I don't know. It is a bit like some of the side missions are definitely very kind of like fetch questy. Like go here, do get 6 of these or whatever.
Hmm.
But the benefit is that I'm doing it in Hogwarts, and
Yeah.
so
100%.
it's just like
It's just cool.
just seeing it, dude. Like just
Yeah.
really being there,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's
Understandable.
just so
Yeah.
beautifully detailed, and like the art design is crazy good, and
Hmm. Well,
yeah.
like you can see all the animals flying around, all the ghosts are flying around as well when you saw them walking around Hogwarts. Like it looks good. Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick it up. This looks
There's
good.
so many fun puzzles as well. Like there's I think in the background there is a key with wings, which
Hmm.
was from the first Harry Potter movie. And you sort of like you'll be walking around Hogwarts and you'll hear the fluttering and be like, okay, there's a key. Where's it going? And it will sort of give you a path, and it sort of
That's
leads you to a cabinet. You go to the cabinet, and then you have to like you go into this first person perspective, looking at the cabinet, and the key is just going like zipping by, and
oh,
you have to slap it at the right time where it goes in the keyhole. It's dumb, but it really is
that's
Harry
funny.
Potter,
But
where
that's
it's
very
like
Harry Potter,
goofy
right?
and it's
It's
very
very Harry
magical and it's
Potter.
very
Yeah,
like quirky, I guess.
that's very Harry Potter
Um,
where it's dumb like that. You know what I
and
mean?
it just fits. Like it feels like something that like there'd be kids that are just like, oh, there's fucking all these flying keys. I gotta go slap it in the cabinet to get a fucking token or whatever.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
And yeah, like even like this, like look at like that is all explorable. All
Yeah,
that outside the castle, like the castle makes up maybe like 5% of the total map.
that's very cool.
It is
That's
gargantuan.
insane. That is insane.
And yeah, I just good job, developers, fucking nailed it. And I still, like rights are human rights, and J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit. But these
But good game.
developers still made a really fucking good game.
The people, I think we won't get too much into it, but I feel like people
We won't get too much into
considering
it because I don't want to say that their feelings towards this game are invalid, but I also
mm,
don't want to say that buying the game is wrong,
bad thing.
but also choosing to not buy the game is also not wrong. Like I'm very much in the center on this, where I just don't feel like either party is necessarily right
Mm,
or
but
wrong.
or
It's
wrong.
just like it's just people with different perspectives and feelings on consumerism,
Yeah,
essentially, you know.
100%. Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Alrighty.
but I
Alright,
don't
cool.
think that takes away from the developers'
Not at
vision
all. No.
and
Yeah.
their skill. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll say about that. That's the last
Cool.
I'll put out there.
Very good.
Um,
Alrighty. Um,
but yeah,
I got one more. I have a secret one that I didn't talk about.
you got a secret one?
I got a secret one. I have a secret game. This is the one
Oh,
that I talked
Project
about.
Wingman. Oh yeah, you've
Yeah!
talked about it before. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Holy shit, it's laggy.
yeah. Is it really? Is it?
It's so
Oh my
framey.
god, look at
Oh,
that.
it's better now. It's better now. It's it's
Very
stabilizing. It's stabilizing
quickly.
like a jet. Tell me
This
about
game,
Project Wingman.
this game is really good. Like, I didn't bring it up because I wanted to
Mhm,
quickly, because I want to talk about the thing a little bit secret.
mhm,
I played it, not that long,
mhm.
5, 6 hours maybe, short game. And is it like good by in the means of like, is it gonna be one of my favorite games of all time? No. But is it fun? Fuck yeah. This game is great. I love it.
Wait, you don't think it's good?
No, no, I think it's really, really good, but it's
Right,
not gonna be like one of my favorite
for
games of all
everyone.
time. You know what I
Okay.
mean? That's my gif about it. So before I get into it, this game was made by 3 people. A developer,
3 people.
yeah, there was a coder, a director, and a sound producer. That's it. That's literally all it was.
Damn,
3 people made this. And the
that's impressive.
gameplay is really simple. Basically, you got priority targets. You can see one is glowing white. That's still your priority, and that's where you can lock your missiles onto. You can kill
Mhm.
the other ones, but you can't lock missiles onto them.
Yep.
Very simple gameplay. The gameplay itself, the thing about this game, which is really good, is that it is gameplay is simple. Like it's simple. The story is meh, and like everything is good or really good, but together it's phenomenal. Like the music itself is really good, but in this game, it's amazing, right? The voice acting is okay if you hear it by itself, but in this game, it's really good. The thing about this game, which I love, is that the customization that you can have with your jets is dog shit insane. You can get a jet that can have only bombs you could drop, and you can
Oh,
nuke
really?
the
So you can
floor.
really, like, get super granular with it.
Yeah, and you can get bombs where you can only have anti-ground target, right? And you
Mhm.
can just nuke the floor if you want to, right? And you can
Oh,
see
that's
here
cool.
that you're going to like different like viewpoints and whatnot, which is cool. But it's really fun, and the story gets batshit insane really
Is it
quickly.
are you playing it for the story or just for the gameplay, do you think?
At the start, you're playing for just the gameplay, and at
Yeah.
the end, you're definitely there more for like story reasons.
Oh, so you are enjoying the story, it's not just like a they
It's
didn't, like, phone it in.
how do I explain this properly? It's definitely a phoned in story, but
Mhm.
there's moments in the story where you feel something that you shouldn't feel something in that situation. I'm trying to
Right.
not spoiling it, but like the final fight, for example, is so much more emotional than it needs to be, and you feel it for some reason. I
How
don't know.
long is the game? Is it a short game?
5, 6 hours, about that.
Okay,
Very short
that's not
game.
too bad.
There's only about 21 missions, and each mission only goes about
Mhm.
10, 15 minutes. It's
Yep.
not that bad at all. It's really short, and then you have some shit you can do afterwards as well. But like, think about this game. It's great. It's so much fun, and I really do genuinely love the game. As I said, not one of my favorites of all time, but
Mhm.
it's definitely a game I'll come back to quite a lot because it is just fun. It's just
Mm.
cool, and the
Satisfying.
music
It
is
looks
great.
satisfying just
It
watching
is
the gameplay.
it is seriously satisfying, and graphically, it's beautiful. You see here, you're going like over an island, and this is one of the first missions you do. But
Mhm.
like, there's other ones where you fly over cities, you fly over canyons. It's raining. The basic rundown, the
I would love a
story.
good rating mission.
Oh yeah. Oh, the thing about this game and what's really cool about it is that the basic rundown of the story, before everything that happens, is that there was a thing, well, basically a cataclysm, right? And
Mhm.
what happened? Destroyed the world, and
Oh,
it
Jesus.
yeah, completely messed up the world, and you're basically part of like a new world order. That's basically what you're a part of.
Yeah.
you're mercenaries working for people in like a new world order, basically. Um, and you fly over these areas that are destroyed and whatnot, and you're kind of fighting for like the last saving grace of the world because there's people that want to destroy the new world order, right? And it's a really cool story, and some of the places you fight are just beautiful. Like the game can is just such a beautiful game. The fighting itself is really fun. It's really satisfying. And there's one thing at the game which you don't really expect, but there's a rule you follow very quickly. Your character doesn't have a voice. Your character doesn't speak,
Right.
but your WHO or your weapons operation
Mhm.
manager. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. But you're basically her name is Prez. She sits in the
Mhm.
back. She is basically your voice, but she's not there unless you have a two-seater. And your only rule is that you have to fly two-seaters, so you have the voice in the back. Okay,
Right.
everyone. If you go into the community, because I've talked to like other people that play this game, they basically say that she's like best girl, and they talk to her in that way. It's really
Jesus
funny,
Christ.
but not in like a weeb sort of way. It's just because she has some genuinely really
I don't know. I feel like people calling her best girl is
no,
like,
the
that's kind
reason
of weird.
why is because she has some genuinely really funny voice lines where she'll
Okay.
like rage at other pilots and whatnot, and you'll see fan art and whatnot where like you're
Oh my
flying. No, but like you're
Okay, well,
because it goes off of lines, and you see a fan
right.
art where you're flying with another jet, and she's like flipping off the other jet,
Okay,
and
you
it
can
goes
tell me
off.
you haven't seen a fan art of her getting fucked by a jet.
No, there is. I don't. Well, I don't know if there is. I haven't seen anything because, but what do you
Yeah,
call?
it's
There
out
is.
there. I'm sure of it.
Oh, there probably is. There's weird people out there, but
Some
anyway,
fucking weirdos.
there's some weirdos out there. But there's some genuinely funny lines that she will
Hmm.
say because she just gets overly angry at the other jets that you're fighting, and
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
it's
I
really
mean that's
funny.
good. I was gonna say like, if she wasn't fun to listen to, if she
No,
got annoying, that would suck. So that's
no,
good that she's
she
like charming
definitely
and
yeah, she definitely is very charming and whatnot, and you definitely, like, kind of she is where you get attached to the story because you kinda center your view off of her viewpoints, basically,
right.
and, that's where you kinda you go your attachment through her into the world, basically.
Mhm.
There's other characters, but the voice acting and the characters are not as good. It's her that kinda gets you into it, and I
Right.
think that's why people kinda call her best girl because she is your kinda ticket into the world, basically.
Mhm.
And as I said, she's very funny herself. She actually has some very funny lines. Some of the lines don't really land, but a lot of them do. A lot of them are very funny. But overall, game really good. There's actually boss fights in this game, which
Mhm.
are get really insane. I'll
How
say
did the
one.
boss fights go? Like, just give an example.
So okay, so I'll give two examples actually. So
Mhm.
there's two boss fights. One of the first ones, you fight a giant ass ship. Okay, very
Mhm.
basic. There's a bunch of other jets flying around this giant ass ship, and your goal is to destroy the ship. And the one thing that's really cool is like you're like doing like bombing runs like over the ship. You can fly over the ship and whatnot. Oh yeah, that's another cataclysm that just happened on screen if you're watching on YouTube.
Sh
So you
Oh, it's a
see
nuke. It's a fucking
yeah.
nuke.
So basically, they blew up a thing, and you see everything went orange. That's kind of a joke of this, and you'll understand that if you play it. Orange is like the main
Oh,
color.
just another nuke. Haha.
Yeah, just but
Oh, they set off another one.
yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But
Let's go. Take a photo.
um, but basically, what happens is, yeah. So that's the boss fight, and you're doing like flying runs where you're flying up and you're barely crossing by this other ship, and you're shooting into it. But then there's boss fights where you're fighting other jets, and some of these other ones get insane, and the physics get dumb, and they lean into that, which is cool. Where these jets are
Mhm.
doing 180s in the air, and they're leaning into it, and they're actually making like mechanics out of it. But one of the jets, I'm not going to say who, gets a rail gun attached to them. And it's not a thing
Ah.
where it's like a shoot, right? And
So
wait,
is there a charger?
it's a machine gun.
Do you know it's
It's a machine
Oh,
gun rail gun that fires at you. It's insane. It's insane,
okay.
but
Oh,
it
so
is
it's that kinda game. Right.
yeah, it's insane, but it is so cool
Hmm.
because you see these things fly at you, and you're like dodging and doing barrel rolls in air, and they're just whizzing past you as you're dogfighting this other jet. It is so cool. It is so cool, and I love the game for that because it doesn't hold back at how stupid it can be,
Yeah.
and it has this nice charm to it about it because the thing about the game, it's made by three people, as I said,
Mhm.
and a lot of games that are made by smaller developers have this very like polished feel to it. This game doesn't have that huge polished feel, but instead of that being a bad thing, it kind of adds a charm into the game because they kind of lean into the fact it doesn't have that charm because like
Yeah,
the
right.
physics is a little bit wonky and like the fighting's a little bit weird, but they lean into it and it makes it so much more fun because of the fact they lean into it. And
Mhm.
that's why this game is great. I just love the game. It's like $30, and I would actually say it's pretty worth it. It's really fun. If you like kind of dogfighting games and whatnot, it's really good. The VR apparently is really good as well. It's just all around very
So
good.
I was gonna say, now that you have tried this game and like it,
Mhm.
are you gonna try like the Ace Combat games and other games in the
I
genre?
I think so, 100%. I think I would. I think I'm going to. I'm gonna get definitely give them a try as
I
well,
think it's
especially
Ace Combat 7.
yeah, Ace
Isn't that
Combat
the
7.
latest one? Yeah.
That's the latest one, and I think I will because this was just fun. I really enjoyed it. It was just cool. It was just really fun, and
Yeah,
like
because I was gonna say like because to me like if you like this, Ace Combat is this but with like AAA developer kind of
exactly, it has a polished
qualities.
feel to
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
It is more
No,
expensive though.
yeah, but I'm fine with that. I don't mind. But yeah, you can see the map right there,
Top
and
Gun Maverick set
there's a
for
what?
Ace Combat 7. A
That's
Top
really
Gun
cool.
Maverick aircraft set.
That's really cool. That's
That's
really
pretty
cool.
cool. Anyway,
Um, but yeah,
so yeah,
that's
final
what was I gonna
thoughts
say?
on
Really good. I would highly recommend. It's just fun. It's really good. And as I said,
can you use a like a HOTAS?
I
HOTAS.
think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty positive you can actually do it. I'm pretty sure it's controller keyboard, or you can do that as well. And yeah, it's just really good. And as I said,
Cool.
later on at the start, it's kind of like you feel okay, but when the more and more you play it, the more and more fun it gets. Especially when the story starts to ramp up and gets more and more crazy. Good
Dope.
shit. Love it. Great game.
Awesome.
Mm.
Well, Ben, I think it's time for one more thing.
I think it's time for one more thing. I think it's time for one more thing.
Do you want to do your one more thing, or should I do my
No,
one more thing?
you do. I've always kind of gone first or second. You have never gone first or second yet. So I feel
I
like
have never gone first or second.
yeah,
So I am once again showing that I am addicted to television,
yes.
and once again bringing another TV show that I actually finished this week.
Oh yeah,
It's on Disney Plus.
yeah.
It has gone mostly under the radar, but what drew me to it was the fact that it's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I know isn't the end all be all, but it's a pretty good determination that it's a good show, and
Mhm.
that's called Extraordinary. The TV show is called Extraordinary.
Yeah.
I fucking loved this first season of television.
Mhm,
It's only
mhm.
8 episodes. They're only like 30 minutes each. The setup is that everyone in the world has superpowers.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
they've all got superpowers, and but it's not like oh they've all got super strength or they can all fly or they're all invisible. There are people in the world that can do that, but there's also people that are like oh they've got an extra long tongue, and when they walk down the street and they drop their phone, they just use their tongue to fucking get their phone back.
I love it. Yep. Yep.
Or this dude, there's some funny shit. There's a guy who can morph through walls, but he's still learning his ability, and sometimes he gets stuck. And you know, maybe he
Oh no.
can't wear clothes when he morphs through walls because his clothes can't go through. It's just him. Yeah, maybe he gets stuck in some interesting situations when he's not exactly wearing clothes.
That's very
It's just funny shit like that, man. And the setup, like the whole idea is that the main protagonist does not have a power yet. She's 25,
yeah.
and usually around 18 is when people get their powers.
Mhm.
And she has like a stepsister, and her stepsister on her 18th birthday gets a superpower, and she gets super strength. So she gets a cool superpower, and she's rubbing it in her sister's face. And the whole kind of story is about this 25-year-old who is kind of traveling through life,
Mhm.
figuring out what she wants to be, while also not having superpowers while everyone else does.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's just really fucking funny. It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
funny. It's on Disney Plus. It's an easy watch,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like there's so
Okay.
many good jokes, so many good moments, and it's already renewed for season 2. So it's
Very
not like
good.
Netflix where you got to worry about oh is it gonna get the fucking cancelled?
Mhm.
No, it's not. So
Very good. Okay. Okay.
watch Extraordinary if you're looking for something just quick and easy to watch.
I actually will do that. I actually will do that. Alrighty. My one more thing. I actually had something, but I realized something else. My one more thing is something that always in my background. This guy right there. He actually had his
The
birthday.
dog.
The dog. No, the reason why he had his birthday a couple days ago. He had his birthday
Mhm.
a couple days ago. Um,
He's
and
really partying back there.
No, he's really partying. He's dead tired right now, but he's always in the background. Like I do talk to him quite a lot when I'm on your stream and stuff like that.
Mhm, that's true.
It's
That's true.
always there. It's always there. But yeah, because he's always going to be there and whatnot. You're always going to see him in the background. I might as well bring him up now than later. He's one more thing. He's my dog. He always just chills in the background.
What's the dog's name?
Dog's name, that is Ajax. His name is Ajax. He is
Ben really loves the spray and wipe.
the spray and wipe. My favorite spray and wipe.
We just made that joke so many times.
Exactly.
It's a classic
Exactly.
Australian,
It is.
item.
Yes, it
So
is. Heal across Staffy, and yeah, he on his birthday broke a hole through my fence. So I had to,
happy birthday. Fuck
yeah,
you.
happy birthday. That's what he did. But yeah, he is my one more thing. He is my one more thing.
Well,
And
happy birthday, Ajax.
yeah, happy
And
birthday, buddy. And hopefully he's not dead in the background right now. He looks like it.
now he's breathing, surely.
Is he? Yeah, he's breathing.
Is he?
Is he?
Who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, he's my one more thing. But very good.
Well, that has been one more thing, and that is the end of our podcast.
Yes.
And you open the show. Do you want to end it?
I will end it. Thank you all very much for listening to tonight's podcast. Hopefully, it wasn't too scuffed. I actually think it went pretty well.
And next week will be so much better. I mean,
Yeah,
there was
next week-
there was a lot of random setup here, and I was getting
Yeah.
used to the setup. I think it did. It was okay. It went fine. There's a
Yeah.
little bit of weirdness, but it's fine. It's all
I think
good.
it was good. I think it was good. Yeah, we'll definitely be
Let's
back.
hope this gets uploaded. You know.
Yes, hopefully, if it is, you guys will see it on Friday, and we'll see you next week, and potentially even next week. We might even have a special guest if Nathan's not going to be here. So
We keep teasing it. We keep teasing. Oh, maybe it's no. Next week there will be
yeah,
a guest. We'll have a guest. We'll have a guest next week.
100%.
If you can make it. If you can make it.
Yeah, true.
We haven't asked yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be three. There'll be three back again.
100%. But yeah, very good. That has been what do you call it, 71st hour podcast? And what do you call?
I got the name. Who knows what it is?
I was about to say another name.
Episode 4, dude. I mean, I can't believe it's episode 4. A month in the book.
It's been a month in the book. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good. But yeah,
all right.
We will see you all next week. All right, we'll see you all then. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Goodbye. Fade out. Oh, it's a long fade.
It's a long